Good evening everyone and welcome to the Vertex Stock Car Cup and round 5 of season 2 from Iowa Speedway. I am Chaz Draycott on the broadcast and in the comms tonight, and alongside me as always, and I've already called him it once this week, it's the beautiful Chris Dawes. Chris, how are we doing?
I'm alright, thanks, sweet cheeks. How the devil are you?
Very, very good indeed. And it feels like forever since we had that fantastic race last time out at Zolder, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, genuinely, I've got to the stage and you know, I commentate on a whole host of things even during this lockdown, and I genuinely get really, really excited looking forward to it. And I think I go stratospheric when we sit in the driver's briefing beforehand and listen to the mixture of the details of this race. Sorry, I just heard something then. Sorry, my headphones.
Sorry.
You know, the details of this race and the banter, but the competitiveness of the drivers as well, and it just gets me even more excited.
Yeah, it certainly is a great series, and we've all known to come and love it even more as it goes on. I'm just looking at Guillaume Hesno now. The drivers have just started qualifying, so we're going to be seeing these guys going for it, trying to put the best times in. And Iowa, a nice short circuit here for us, Chris, that not a lot of these guys will have all of the experience on, and there's so many different lines you can take around here, isn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, we're listening to the experts at this, which is unsurprisingly not us. Is that there's 3 distinct lines round the corners. You know, the middle line apparently is the fastest, and we're riding on board with Guillaume Hesno at the minute, and you saw that he was very much stuck in the middle with yo. There you go, a bit of singing for you. And that apparently is the quickest, but also it will do the biggest damage, the quickest damage to the tyres, and you know, they might sort of want to stretch that out a little bit potentially. So you might suddenly find them going high or low to give it a bit more time. I mean, it's just an intriguing circuit. We'll get overlaps that looks like the overtake's going to be done, but I mean, I was watching the highlights of their practice race last night. They have to do that time and time again to even actually pull it off.
Oh yeah, it's really going to be a thinking race, this one, and you know, you see a short track like this and think, oh, it's not that hard. It's not like a super speedway where every thousandth matters and you're constantly flat out. But these circuits really do bring out the best in these drivers. Brian Crowell's is top at the moment. Aaron Smith, championship leader, is second, and I tell you what, just to very quickly go back to it while these guys are getting the laps in, Chris. Aaron Smith at Zolder, wow. That's all that can be said, isn't it?
Another level, literally a whole other level. No one had an answer for him whatsoever, did he? And I think it was probably as much to do with the consistency than anything else, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. It was just fast lap after fast lap, and he just gradually, as Ben Carina gets it sideways coming out the final corner, he just constantly had something else on top of what everyone could deal with, and yeah, there was just, like you say, another level. And I'm not sure whether we'll see the same tonight. It's going to be a very closely contested one tonight, and yeah, Jonathan Hill has kept the Gravedigger livery for this round. That makes us happy. I did tell Chris just before that I think he might have changed it because it was meant to be a one-off, but he hasn't, and here we are. Yeah, Brian Crowell's though top at the moment. Aaron Smith and Alex Cedric, again inseparable. Guillaume Hesno is 4th at the moment. And when we were at Kansas, Guillaume took the first win of the championship. He is practicing coming onto pit road, and that's the stylish way to do it, isn't it?
That's with a flair.
Yeah, definitely.
I just clicked my fingers and did the flick there as well, but you can't see me doing that, you know. Girlfriend.
I heard the click, so that's all good. We at least got 50%.
That's all right then. That's all right.
Hello, everybody in the YouTube chat that is supporting us. Good to see you all. Joel is saying, let's support Brian Crowell's. Go the 68, says FRA Scar. And here he is. Guillaume Hesno decided to go for another lap. Why not? You've got the time. Here's Adrian Burks. Adrian's been an exciting one to watch this season, going for a lot of moves, especially on the oval circuits. He didn't have the best time at Charlotte Roval. I don't think he enjoyed that one too much, but he's still here trying and pushing hard. These cars look great going up that banking on the far end of the circuit. Topley goes into 8th place. Alistair, I believe, was someone that we didn't have with us last week. Adrian Burks goes 4th there. Really good time from Adrian. Here's Alistair in the Penske liveried car. I love that thing. looks absolutely spot on. And we do have some beautiful liveries out there, as always, and Chris and I really do appreciate them. Doesn't look like Billy Fletcher's got a lap in, unfortunately. Not quite sure what's gone on there, but I hope that he can get it sorted all the same. But looking at the championship standings just quickly while these guys sort of wrap it up, Aaron Smith is now 17 points clear from Guillaume Hesno. Alex Cedric is top, but he's counted as one of the pro drivers, so his results don't actually count overall towards the championship. Jason Glenn is third out of the non-pro drivers, and he's only 3 points behind Hesno, and then 1 point behind him is Brian Crowell. So there's only 21 points between the top four here, Chris. So it's very, very close indeed, isn't it?
Absolutely, which of course was the whole intention, wasn't it? Just to keep it completely alive. As if the racing wasn't exciting enough, it's what are we going to do with the actual events? And you know, you're picking out strengths and weaknesses of different people. I mean, we mentioned Adrian Burks there. I mean, he opened up this season with 2 third places, for goodness sake. Then he gets to the Roval, the Charlotte Roval, where of course you then start turning multiple directions, and a beast of a circuit on the infield, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Charlotte Roval, and he comes home 19th, and he didn't enter Zolder at all. So, you know, we're back into his element now, is what you got to say. And you think, well, there's someone that's going to come back into it again. But you get those going backwards and forwards. The two that are, well, I was about to say the two that are being consistent, but it's not really. It's the one, Alex Cedric's being seconds and firsts. Aaron Smith, of course, had bad luck in the opening 2 rounds, which keeps that wide open, a 5th and an 8th before we got the 2nd and the win. So it's just, I'm not betting on anybody. It's as simple as that. And that's before we got, I don't know if you noticed, the practice, let alone what we've got in the qualifying, there was virtually nothing separating this whole field. Yeah,
it's incredibly close around here. I mean, qualifying times there, if I just bring them up again on the left-hand side of everybody, there's 1/10 separating the top 9, and then it's just, I mean, the two of them, Cedric and Burks, are actually tied there on 35 thousandths off the leader, which is Brian Crowell's. And then only 3 thousandths between Hesno and Mills. Doble is then only 12 thousandths ahead of Kriener, who is then only 6 thousandths ahead of Topley. It's just incredible. And this is going to stay this way throughout the whole race, everybody, as well. Let me just drill that home, because last time we were on an oval, and we were at Kansas, we saw some incredible battling between a lot of these guys, didn't we, Chris? And it was just, no matter when it was in the race, they just did not give up at all.
No, exactly. I mean, and we're definitely going to see more and more of that today. What you want to keep your eyes open for is, I kind of alluded to it already, if you suddenly see them go into the first or third lanes, so either the bottom or the top, then it means that either they're trying to save their tyres or they're starting to go already. You know, you might suddenly see them starting to get a little bit squirrely, and that's going to change the dynamic of how those people are going to race. Now, what that also means is that the drivers behind them, they're going to be noticing that as well, and they're going to say, okay, here we go. We've got the opportunity to get involved here, and you know, it's going to be interesting. The fuel apparently will last longer than the tyres. The tyres, we're looking at 50 to 60 laps in this, which is a long race, isn't it, Chaz? 172 laps, 150 miles.
It is going to be an absolute belter. We are going to see a hell of a lot of strategy come into this if there are yellow flags as well. Like you say, though, the fuel, not going to be too much of an issue for them. They just need to keep an eye on that tyre wear. But when it comes to that, it's one of those things, isn't it, where with the fuel, it's simple as, once it's gone, it's gone. With the tyres, it's just about how you drive around it, and there's no definite amount of time lost for having knackered tyres, really, is there? So there's no sort of mathematicians involved in working out when's best to come in on tyres, whether you stretch it out, wait for a yellow, and you get pretty much a free pit stop to get some fresh rubber, or whether someone comes in just before a yellow, or obviously if you come in a bit too late when the yellows come out, and someone's come in before it, then they're laughing, aren't they? So it's part of the charm of this sort of racing.
At that point they're laughing, but how is it going to play out for the rest? Because you could be out of sync and it might not be to your advantage. I mean, that's this world's quickest game of chess, frankly, is that you just don't know. It's at the end. And I mean, you know, I still remember Connor Mills doing that two tyre change at the end of which race did he do that? And that was Indianapolis, wasn't it? And came out and he managed to take the victory. I mean, it's just so much is going to happen.
It really is. It really is. And here is your grid then, everybody. Brian Crowell's pole position from Aaron Smith. Alex Cedric on row 2 with Adrian Burks. And then on row 3 we have Guillaume Hesno and Connor Mills, reigning champion. Mikey Doble lines up 7th, just ahead of Ben Creaner, with Alistair Topley in 9th and James Harvey in the Student Motorsport car, rounding out your top 10. Then we have Jason Glenn alongside Jack Mace, who we were told, said to everybody, and it's gone on record as well, he said that this is the race this season he had the most chance of winning. So, Jack, you better do us proud, mate, and see whether you can get the trophy at the end of this one. Jeff Hooper lines up 13th with Marcel Freinzehner. That's quite far down from his usual standards. Yuri Ishmael is 15th with Justin Nair alongside him. Then we have George Tolsma and Jonathan Hill on row 9, and Billy Fletcher at the back of the grid in 19th. But yeah, Freinzehner, that's a lot further down than we usually see him, isn't it, Chris?
It is. I mean, he had a difficult race last time out, but of course that was a whole different bag of nails, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Is that we were talking around Zolder, so it's totally different to this. But in terms of your oval racing, massively different. Equally, I would even turn around and say Jason Glenn down in 11th. He's impressed us the last couple of outings, hasn't he? He's come on strong.
Yeah.
He's not where he would want to be down there as well. So there's a few that are out of place. But let's remember, the reason for a lot of that is that we're talking probably, hundreds, if not thousands of a second separating the majority, a big, 10th. You could suddenly jump up to 10th if you found 100th of a second.
Definitely. It is tiny margins in this championship, but the music is off, and we have 1 lap of caution for this to get underway, and then we have 170 more of them to get this race decided, and I can't wait. I know that every single lap is just going to be amazing to watch. Billy Fletcher, by the way, has done the purple sector under the safety car in the Sector 2, so well done, Billy. Brian Crowles, though, it's great to see Brian up there. He's got a massive following on YouTube, as I always say. But Aaron and Adrian as well, these guys, they know exactly what they want to do on a restart, and I think Brian's going to have his work cut out to keep these guys behind. What do you reckon?
Definitely. And I mean, the biggest thing that they've got to be aware of that I was picking up on is that they really don't want to light these tyres up too much off of this off of the start, do they? Because it really can get them massively out of shape. And then they're just going to go tumbling backwards, and at best, tumbling towards the concrete at worst.
Yeah, indeed. It's all a game of risk. But here we go then. Brian puts his foot down, and round 5 of the Vertex Stock Car Cup is underway. And Alex Cedric looks down the inside of Aaron Smith straight away. He is not letting this slide at all. We've got 3 wide in the middle there. That's Connor Mills, Alistair Topley, and Billy Fletcher. Sorry, it's Ben Creaner that's going to go wide. James Harvey looking down the inside of him. But it's all nice and tidy through there. Jason Glenn making his way up as well. That's James Harvey on his outside now. Jack Mace just behind. Freinzehner and Jeff Hooper in there. But quite a tidy lap there. But now Cedric is on the back of Crowles, and Hesno is here having a fight with Adrian Burks. Look at that.
They're not hanging about, are they? And Adrian Burks really pulled off quite a humdinger of a move yesterday in the practice race, and he's going to be hoping to do it. But Hesno's got the inside line. It doesn't always pay, apparently, because you can get pinched down. But at the moment, Hesno's done it. Up he goes into 4th position, and that's up from 5th. So he's managed to move up to 1. Connor Mills lurking with intent, the sort of grey and purple car behind him. Mickey Doble, he's been impressing us sort of late. I think he was late to the party for this championship, but that's a turquoise and blue 22 car. He's really trying to get involved. He's in 7th with the pro driver Ben Creaner just behind him. Bain's got his hands full with, I think it's safer to say, everybody else, basically.
Yeah, best of the rest at the moment, Creaner. Oh, Yuri Ishmael's off. He's on the infield. That's not quite how you get into pit lane, mate. We're looking at Mikey Doble, though. He actually set the fastest lap of the race on lap 3. So he is well up there in terms of getting this car around this circuit in efficient time. Look at the amount of dive he puts down there. He goes up high and then comes down low. Obviously, he's got the space to do it. There's no one around him. He just needs to make sure that he doesn't go into the back of Connor Mills, who's now actually looking to make a move on Adrian Burke. So we'll go on board with Connor. And you can see that while those cameras do make this track look very wide, it isn't that wide, is it? If you run a little bit wide or just go a bit loose off a corner, it could all go very wrong.
But it is possible to go 3 wide. Look at that sun in their eyes already, and it's going to go lower. And apparently that's going to change the dynamic towards the tail end of this race. It's going to go down, and we're going to be sat there with colder track conditions, which will change how their tyres perform as well. I love the fact that Connor Mills has gone for the number 1 on this car instead of the number 7 that he was due to be in, to proudly show that he won season 1.
Oh yeah, as I'm a massive anorak for car numbers, honestly. Big send by Mikey Doble down there, by the way. What a dive down the inside. Doesn't quite get it though. Connor carries the speed. But yeah, I'm a huge anorak for car numbers, and I believe that most series should force that drivers carry the finishing position from last season as their number the following year. But you know, with drivers being able to choose their own numbers a lot in the likes of Formula 1 nowadays, I don't think we're going to see that very often. Fun fact, by the way, the last time a champion ran the number 1 in Formula 1 was Sebastian Vettel in 2015. Sorry, 2014.
Have you confirmed that now? Because you bailed out with your confidence on it last time.
It was 2014 that he ran the number 1, yes. He's the only champion, and it was in the very first year of having custom numbers, and from then on he's run number 5. But anyway, the number 48, Brian Crowles, he's actually got Sedgwick and Aaron Smith sort of wrapped around his little finger at the moment. It seems those guys don't want to battle too hard. Aaron sort of is having a bit of a look here and there, but nothing too hasty at the moment. And I think at this point of the race, knowing that there's so many laps to go, they're just trying to scope it out and just see what performance they can get out the car, aren't they? Just to see what sort of lap times they can get on fresh rubber and what their opponents around them can do. Because you've got to get that information, you've got to process the data and think about it. And that helps you make your strategy decisions come later on in the race, doesn't it?
Massively. And I mean, we could talk about the age-old comment of you can't win the race on the first corner, but you can certainly lose it. Incidentally, by the way, I see that Yuri Ismail's out of the race now, it just showed, although hopefully we might get him back in again. Oh, he's still going. It did show him as out on the timing screen for a second, but good news is he is going again. That's good to see. But yeah, you've got that. Plus, as I said, it's the quickest game of chess in the world, and they've just got to be in those prize positions for whatever happens during the course of this. Are they going to make up or lose positions during the caution when they dive into the pits? Is it going to be a green flag pit stop that's going to change things? Are they going to come in at the same times? Are they going to change 4-2, fuel, whatever? There's so many things that are going to happen, but if they try to do any dare moves at the moment, they're putting themselves in a vulnerable position, from my mind. Yeah,
definitely. It's a big risk at this point to really go for those moves. If it is one where you are quicker than the guy in front, you've just got to make sure that you get the move done in a way that's not going to cost both of you a lot of time. You can see on the left there that Billy Fletcher has gained the most places at the moment from the back of the grid. Billy has had really good pace in these cars since he got in the series. From day one, actually, I must add. And I mean, down the inside of Freinzane, like he's not there. Look at that. Jack Mace goes up high. He's not winning this race yet. There's the 3 wide that we mentioned before. Billy runs a little bit out deep there, but out deep? No, that's the opposite one, isn't it? He ran deep on the inside and then he washed out on the exit, but Freinzane has now dropped off a little bit there, and he's got Jeff Hooper right behind him. And they are the 2 closest cars on track. Billy a little bit out of shape there. And this just shows, though, doesn't it? These guys are really pushing these cars early on. And I mean, Billy is making that sort of low to middle line really work for him at the moment. Once he gets his nose down the inside, it means the guy on the outside can't come down very far. And he's just getting position after position now. He's up 7 places from where he started. But once the tyres go off, this playing field is going to get a hell of a lot more level, and these guys are not going to be able to battle as closely as this. They need to be very careful as it goes on. Ben Creaner has got Alistair Topley right behind him, but Ben is another one that he's constantly trying to make moves forward, isn't he, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that was just so intriguing to watch that Billy Fletcher and Jack Mace move. Fletcher has got it done, incidentally. Just went away, he got it signed, sealed and delivered. But it was, watching, as you say, we were talking about the 3 lanes that you've got around here. Well, you had, frankly, Billy Fletcher was using 2 out of those 3, and Mace was sort of ducking into whichever one he could after that. And it means that he's got these guys behind. Now, let's not forget that Jack Mace, I know that we sort of jovially said that this is his best chance. But, you've got to sit there and say that he's going to be biding his time. He's doing something subtle at the minute. He's lost out to Freinzane at the moment, so he finds himself down to 14th. Bearing in mind he started in 12th, so he's only lost a couple of places at the moment. For me, this suggests he might be saving his tyres, I think he's trying something different.
Yeah.
That's a bold call, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No, I agree, come to think of it, because running that higher line, obviously you don't have to put as much lock on, you're not going to scrub the fronts as much.
Correct.
And you can carry the speed, so it may work in his favour, but it depends again on yellow flags as Jeff Hooper now goes down the inside. Keeps Jack up there. Oh, a little bit sideways mid-corner there as well. Usually we see these guys getting sideways on the exit, but he had a little bit of oversteer mid-corner. That was a bit strange.
Yeah, and that's the only question mark I've actually got, is that if something's not quite right there, because he's for the last couple of laps he has looked a little bit loose. He's now diving, going for something different to the inside there, so it's like it's woken the beast to see if he can try something. But I'm wondering if that car is a little bit loose for him, and he's not enjoying this set that he's on at the minute, and he's going to try something different. But let's wait and see once we get to the round of pit stops, which of course could be kiboshed by a safety car anyway, for all we know. I think Billy Fletcher's just moved up another place there, hasn't he, ahead of James Harvey, into 12th place in the student motorsport car. I know that JP is watching. Hello, JP, mate. Higgledy-piggledy, as he says. And, but those two, you can see they're still going. Now, look at that. That means that Freienzenner in the 111 car, he's closed on them from nowhere. That was incredibly quick to do that.
Yeah, I think it looks like James has got a bit of damage on the right-hand side of that car, There's definitely something buckled up. And, we've got a yellow. We have a yellow out for the first time tonight. What has caused that? George Tolsma. Oh, Yuri Ishmael has had an issue as well. I think these two may have come together. George has been in a few incidents in Season 1. Is Yuri just going to go wide? Oh, he does, and nearly takes George's teammate Justin Naya with him as well. And that is enough to bring out your yellow. That was a sensitive one, wasn't it?
It was. That was like 7.
Yeah.
Dancing on ice, that one, wasn't it?
Straight away. He was like, right, you want to go for a slide, mate? Watch this. And then, unfortunately,
they all tapped each other straight again as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Usually, I expect it to pick it up when the car stops on track, but yeah, not like that. And these guys, well, straight away in for tyres. Brian Krause comes in. Some of them are going to try and dummy each other here, I reckon. Is there anybody that's not coming in? No, we have a full pit lane, everybody. Look, we have a full pit lane. It's nearly 3 wide there, Kriener, and that is Topley and Doble. Hopefully we don't see any contact between them, because I know that at certain points of the pit lanes you can hit each other. Let's just see how this pans out.
And I'm interested to see what, we should see them go up one side then the other, or are we going to see them go just the one side? Because at 22 laps in, with tyres predicted, we went too far, Ben Kriener, didn't he? 50 to 60 laps, we reckon, for the tyres. So this is very, very early. I don't know whether we're going to get all 4 changed or whether any are going to be a bit sneaky. Sedgwick's done it.
Yeah, he wins the race off pit lane as well. And it was Alistair Topley as well there that went a bit too early or a bit too far on his box.
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah,
sorry. I looked up at the last minute. I thought it was Kriener.
No, Kriener did the same, sorry. Alistair did sort of 2. It was a bit of a messy one for Alistair, because he... Let's just show you this. Oh, actually, no, never mind. That's when he got into the pit lane. Just as he's leaving it, sorry.
Ironically, that potentially suggests a challenge at that point, because that's both of them were line astern. They both went too far, look.
Yeah,
so there goes Kriener. Alistair, there goes Kriener. Austin Powers back a bit, up a bit, left a bit, right a bit.
I think he was too far over to the right, because obviously in the rules in NASCAR, you can't have any pit members outside of that box, really, and you have a limit in some certain series where you can only have a certain amount of people in the pit box at one time, and I think iRacing does implement those rules as well. So with the whole animation of the pit crew going round, the pit crew would have been outside of that box come the pit stop. So be interesting to know if that was the reason, or whether he was too far back, too far forward. But with the 3-point turn in there, I imagine that he was probably too far over to the right. And it's easy to do in these things. They don't stop very well. They've not got ABS. They just sort of slide. They are.
Yeah.
Big old boats. But Jason Glenn has moved up a few places as well, actually. He's up into 5th now. 6th, sorry. 5 places gained. So the 55 has gained 5. And he's only got 5 in front of him. But that must have been a very tidy start. Billy Fletcher is now up 8 positions. He's having a good run so far. He's got his teammate Ben Kriener just in front of him there. Mikey Doble's lost out a little bit. He's now into 9th place. So that's not quite gone his way. Freienzenner also up there, as you can see on the right. So interesting that the pit stop window has shook things up that much. It doesn't always, as you probably know from NASCAR. Sometimes they all go in and come out the same order again. But we've seen quite a shake-up quite early on in this race as well, not even a quarter of the way through.
We have, and you can see, I love this, because I get myself excited when you see that it looks to me as though we're posturing to possibly get this underway. I can't see well enough if the lights are off there, but it does look like we're getting ready, doesn't it?
Yeah, the lights have gone off on the pace car. She blows.
Literally, my heart rate goes up. That's how good this is. I get excited. Sedgwick now, he's got the field. It's not Krause this time. Sedgwick's got it. The pass master. What's he going to do? He's waiting. Now he goes. He's lifted. He's gone. And he's put himself up into that high line already so that Krause just tucks in. Oh, it looks like Doble's been hung out to dry at the bottom line there. But you just have to be patient with this, as we've seen. As long as he doesn't get pinched too much, which Connor Mills nearly did pinch him on that bottom line. That apparently is where you're vulnerable, is that you can just get squeezed a little bit too much that will drop you down and psych you out and spit you back out again, and you will lose those positions. And yeah, Doble sadly really lost out there. What's he gone down to now? Tonight, so I mean it's all relatively speaking, isn't it? But considering you commented that he'd done well there, he's lost out a little bit to where he deserved to be.
Yeah, I think he actually got a very good jump initially and went to the low line very, very quickly to try and get down the inside of Connor Mills, and it just hasn't worked for him because he's had to really restrict himself. He's got Billy Fletcher and Freinziner, and he's out of shape now as well. Billy Fletcher's going to try and thread the needle. There's nearly 4 wide there with Ben Carina.
And just pick up the car high line there. Look at that. James Harvey in the 40 car. He's done amazing on this restart. He's up into 8th position now. Remember, he and Billy Fletcher.
Belly Fletcher.
I hope that won't fit. Billy Fletcher were line astern, but he's now sat there ahead of the 38 car of Ben Carina. Oh,
Jason Glenn. Jason Glenn has gone down into pit road. The wrong type of pit lane entry. Not quite sure. Of course, the rejoin though as well. Jonathan Hill won't be a fan of that, but that means Jason Glenn is now bottom of the pile, I'm afraid. We've got Aaron Smith.
And he is still in his Gravedigger livery.
He is. He is.
Like it.
Yeah. Big fan of that.
I do like that. Yeah. Well done, Jonathan. We're pleased to see that. Oh, Guillaume Hesno up the inside of Aaron Smith. Look at this. This is a fantastic battle. Aaron Smith was sat there in 3rd place, and he kind of keeps going back and forth. Brian Krause looked out of shape there as he came back into our shot. Aaron Smith is trying to power it around the outside. See, if he just pinches Hesno down tight enough, he's not going to get the drive off of the corner. But Krause is now actually, I said that he looked out of shape. He's putting pressure on Sedgwick. It is like a blooming yo-yo, isn't it? Back and forth, do-si-do your partner. And suddenly the dynamic of the battle just completely changes itself.
It is really, really suffering from the accordion effect right now. And that's really what we wanted to see, because we didn't want to run away winning with any of this, and it's so close to all of them. And you're right, Sedgwick is not having an easy ride of this at the front. Hesno a little bit out of shape there. Adrian Burks and Connor Mills are ready to pounce. Billy Fletcher, though, I have to say, he's really impressive so far. This is going to be his 11th position gain this race. If he makes this stick, he's got his teammate Ben Carina just in front. He runs out a little bit wide. Maybe that's what gets it sorted with James Harvey, but tough stuff from Billy Fletcher. Lets him know. And James is going to try and stay in there. We've got Topley and Freinziner with Mikey Doble right behind as well. And some of these battles, Freinziner very sideways out of there. Nearly clipped the wall as well. But the beauty of this, Chris, is that when one battle ends, it just makes another one. It's fantastic.
Exactly. I mean, darned if you do, darned if you don't is the way of this. Jack Mace is now trying to take advantage just behind there. You suddenly saw the 77 car of Naya, who I was about to comment that he's come through quite well during this pit stop and restart, but he just got out of shape there. He's lost track of the group in front of him, and it just means that Jack Mace is now looking up the inside. Mace in 14th as it stands in the 36 car at the moment, but on that inside line. But this is what I was saying in our preamble beforehand, is that it takes forever for the pass to actually be completed one way or the other, doesn't it? They sit there side by side, back and forth, and you just have to wait and see if going, have they, haven't they, have they, haven't they? Yeah. There's another prime example. Look at it, is that the 41 car of Topley has the inside line, and it looks like they're going lanes 2 and 3 at the moment. Then it switches halfway round, and they're lanes 1 and 2. And Freinziner is trying desperately to do it. Great news at the moment for Jack Harvey in a 40 car ahead of them, because if they're battling, he's probably able to focus on his own lines and do whichever he wants to do.
Yeah, that's it. He needs to just let these guys have their battle and just try and break away and follow those Luxim cars in front of him. Ben Carina and Billy Fletcher both together here, the number 38 and 88 for Luxim 24 Esports. And they're doing a fine job, the pair of them at the moment, especially Billy. I mean, 11 places gained. He's really, really on it. Alex Sedgwick, as we expected, he was going to be good round here tonight. And he's just had the jump on Brian Krause in the pit lane, and that has proved so important so far. But when you've got people like Hesno, Smith and Burks right behind you in the top 5, and Connor Mills making it the top 6, it's no easy ride, is it? I tell you what a lineup we've got here in the top 6.
Well, you know, when you consider that Connor Mills, you know, he's got to be coming into this with a degree of confidence, because the last oval we had was Indy, and he got the victory, and then of course he had to go on to the Charlotte Roval, which did not go his way at all, and it was sort of relative indifference, I think, at Zolder, but he's back onto another oval now. Okay, it's not the full big super speedway, it's a mile and a half, but I'm informed that this is, and I don't really understand exactly what I'm saying, but I'm told that it has super speed characteristics, even though no idea what I've just said, but that's what I read. Well, and that means that Connor Mills could come into this, as we see, he's at the back there, he's just waiting for his chance, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is. A little bit of a blip in my internet there, everybody. I do apologise for that one. But yes, it is all about opportunistic stuff here. And I think that Brian Crowles knows that. And I think if he really wanted to push Alex harder around here, he would be doing right now. Comes back to what I said before the pit stops, as Billy Fletcher's actually got past his teammate Ben Creaner now. So Billy really on a charge. Someone has lit a match under Billy Fletcher's backside before tonight, and he is gone, absolutely flying away. Whether Ben Creaner made a mistake or not, I'm not sure, but he's got James Harvey and Alistair Topley right on his exhaust now, although the exhaust on the side of the cars, so ignore me. But some really good scraps. He's on the gearbox, let's go with that.
And I mean, you know, Billy Fletcher, bearing in mind last week at Zolder, he I mean, what, we finished 6th, but it was a blinding 6th, to be honest with you, because he tried something different. He hung out longer than everybody else before coming in for tyres to see whether it could work, and he was screaming pace in the dying seconds. Oh, and he's got it wide there, is Ben Creaner, and I didn't see any contact there. He's got that lit up. Thankfully, I think we're going to get away without a caution, because he's going to rejoin, just about getting away with that. That was unfortunate.
But it means as well, I think he just lit it up, you know. Ben likes to run a loose setup, but he just properly went around there. Let's just have a quick look and see whether we can get it back. So here he is going in. Yeah, no contact, but he just gets on the power and it just completely goes sideways. It's a great save. But, yeah, unfortunately, it meant there that Alistair Topley, because he slowed down for the incident, Doble and Freinzehner went round the outside of him. And he's now still trying to defend from Freinzehner. He's holding that inside line. Oh, Yuri Ishmael's had an issue. He's really hit the wall hard there, and we've not actually had a yellow for that yet. We'll keep an eye on it. Oh, Justin Naya, he just washes up wide into Justin. Manages to keep it. Oh, and then when he's recovering, he lights up the rears. And he doesn't hit the wall, actually. The damage was from earlier, but...
oh, well done. Well, I mean, interestingly, that sort of makes a point that I was about to say, is that, you know, I was watching Ben Creaner's footage, on-board footage of their practice race last night. As Krause is now looking towards the inside, I get excited as though it's going to happen now, but this is going to now probably carry on for the next several laps. But Krause got a great run there, and he's up the inside of Cedric. But the on-board with Ben Creaner, it actually showed that you can lose it, like virtually, it looked like it was virtually on the straight. Because of the power, it will just light it up enough. If you just do it that little bit too soon, and it looks like you're on the straight, it is incredibly challenging what these guys are doing out in these cars. Of course, in the Infinity cars, they don't have the same levels of adhesion as the full-blown NASCAR Cup cars, do they? And you can see it. I mean, it's more powerful and less downforce and less grip, and you literally can see it on that onboard. And it doesn't do it justice watching it from the outside as it does. If you ever get a chance to watch Ben Creaner's onboard footage, and I'm sure some of the other drivers do it as well, it gives you a fabulous insight into how difficult it is.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've watched NASCAR for a few years, and I just think, oh, they just look like they're absolutely planted to the road. But I promise you, everybody, these guys are on the absolute limits of adhesion at the moment with these cars. One tiny little step out, one bit, like tiny bit too much lock, just coming out of a corner. And like Chris says, the tiny little bit of throttle can just pitch the rear around so quickly. And the thing is, because they don't have that sort of grip in the first place, once it's going sideways, it's very difficult to save it, and it will pretty much have you off. We've got
and a big old weight of a car to get a tank slapper on as well, isn't it?
Oh god, yeah. Oh aye, very big madams, these cars.
Aye.
Oh,
Why?
I've gone really northern all of a sudden. Alistair Topley is propping up the top 10 at the moment, but he's just not quite able to catch up with Mikey Doble yet. He's managed to see off Marcel Franze in it, so again the triple one car is in position 11, and he seems to be a big fan of the number ones, does Franzini, but he's nearly a second down now. Kralls and Sedgwick still battling again. Wow. We saw Brian just slotting behind. He's done it again now. Alex is trying to make that top line work a little bit more now, isn't he? You can see these guys are staying a bit higher. Not quite all the way to the top, but middle line again. Brian just lets it just drop down a little bit midway down the corner, doesn't he? Just to get that momentum. But you can see, as he did there, he just had that slight slide on exit that killed his speed.
Well, you can see that the sensible move, the quickest line apparently is the middle line. But as I say, it causes allegedly it causes the most deterioration of your tyres, or the quickest deterioration of your tyres. And you can see both of them sat there in the middle lane, and Krause is at the moment, he's just sat there with him, trying to go with him. That sun beaming into his eyes now. And he's then got to interpret the run that he gets. And is that I can't quite tell because I've gone blocky on my screen at the minute, but is that a back marker ahead of them, or is that just
it's yes, it is Yuri Ishmael that we've got ahead.
Oh my gosh.
Whether this is going to add anything to it or not, we'll have to see. With the stream quality, Chris, I'll refresh that for you, mate. Just bear with me 1 second.
Don't panic. Every now and again it goes like that for me, and then it comes back again good, so don't panic. It was only the fact that I was pretty sure I could see. But, you know, me and the voices and the ghosts, you never know what's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not true. I'm joking.
Oh, wow.
Was I? Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. Yeah, I was.
I'll ask him again in an interview later, everybody. But, yes, good battle for the lead here, but Yuri Ishmael could become the thorn in the side of one of these guys. However, I'm hoping that he gets out of the way because we want to see a nice, fair fight between these lads. And, to be honest, Alex and Brian have worked together for a while as well. Brian, obviously, a mechanic in the Euro NASCAR paddock, so these guys know each other well, to say the least, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just been amazing to watch that Brian Krause is one heck of a driver as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
He's shown it in this one, which is really interesting, which makes me wonder if that's the same in the real world, and he's working on the cars with the sort of like a daggers in his eyes at the driver going, that should be me. That should be me.
Well, a bit of contact there between Jeff Hooper and George Tolsma. I saw them getting very close on the timing screen, thought it was worth a watch. Same with James Harvey and Alistair Topley. But, yeah, I mean, just thinking about how good Brian is in a sim as well, you do have to think that maybe his knowledge of how the car drives as well means how much of a decent engineer and mechanic he is, I suppose, because I've seen drivers become mechanics before. I mean, a friend of mine, Ben Palmer, who races in the Mini Challenge UK, his chief engineer is Andrew Rogerson, and they used to race together in MG Owners Club. And he's a hell of a driver, but he's also a hell of a mechanic and engineer. And he knows, obviously, how Ben wants the car. He knows how the car's going to behave based on what he does. And it's a brilliant, brilliant bit of chemistry for a good pairing in terms of race team. And to be honest, Brian's showing that sort of quality right now. I mean, he's really pressurising Alex as we've got a yellow. George Tolsma again. George, again, the cause of a yellow, unfortunately. Let's have a look at what's happened to him this time. Got Jeff Hooper there on his inside.
We saw these two. Oh, that's Tolsma's innocent there, I've got to say. That looked innocent for Tolsma.
Yeah, he just ran out a little bit wide there. I think it was Jeff Hooper, wasn't it? That just
I was about to say those two had been having a great tete-a-tete for the last few laps, hadn't they? And yeah, that just suddenly got loose. Don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean I'm saying it was Hooper did it deliberately, but on the contrary, is that he washed out, didn't he? And he just went up into the poor innocent Tolsma, and of course there was nothing he's going to do. Now, interestingly, 56 laps in, they are aiming for the pits. We're not even at the point when they'd normally change well, we probably are at where they'd change the tyres for the first time. Now we're going in for the second change, but you're just going to anyway, aren't you? If the caution's out, get yourself in. But we saw such changes going on in that first caution. What's going to happen this time? Goodness me.
It could be anything. I mean, look at Aaron here. It was almost like he got the slipstream off Guillaume Hesner going into the pit lane and then thought, oh, go on then, I'll try and make a move. But they all peel into the pits. Alex looked like he overshot his box a little bit there. Oh, Aaron does as well. We'll have to keep an eye on where Alex comes out. This is Brian Krause, who was chasing for the race lead. Is he going to get off there? It's whoever crosses that white line first, gets the position. I can hear him building up the revs. You can see the backfire, and Brian does it from Alex and Guillaume Hesno third. Burks, then Aaron Smith down to 5th now. Alistair Topley's done well there. He's into 7th place. He's now ahead of Billy Fletcher, who's just got James Harvey behind him. Marcel Freinzehner is now ahead of Mikey Doble. Jack Mace is 12th. Jason Glenn 13th. Ben Kriener is right down there, obviously, after that incident earlier, but he's made another couple of places up there. Jeff Hooper's just coming out, and the same with George Tolsma as well, and still quite a damaged car. But Brian Crowles reclaims the lead of this race, Chris. That's very important.
Wow. I mean, and there was minimal in that, wasn't it? I mean, that was literally that they came out largely side by side. I think Alex probably would have thought that he had that when he came out of there, but it was as they then swept round the corner and out that it just meant that Crowles got it. I just, that was just incredible. Hesno in 3rd, Adrian Burks up into 4th place, so that means that Aaron Smith at the moment has dropped down into 5th place, and I think you called it. It looked like to me, I think he just slightly overshot his pit box by tiny margin, but it meant it was a long wait before we saw the car go up at all, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's once you have overshot your box a little bit, obviously the sim needs to then realise that and then tell you, and then you wait for the human reaction of, oh no, I've overshot my box, what do I do? Get it in reverse, get it back, and then by the time all that's happened, you've lost a second in the pit lane, 2 seconds, and it can make all that difference. And as we saw there with Brian and Alex, I think Alex overshot it slightly as well. I'll just see if I can find it on here for you all. Let's just see, because he entered his pit box quite late, obviously being quite far down the pit lane. Here we go. Obviously leading the train in, so no one to worry about in front of him, blocking his view or anything like that, which can happen quite a lot. And he goes, yeah, that's way over. Gets it back, and watch Aaron as well on the right. He does the same.
Yeah, he does, but it's how tiny that reverse was from Aaron. I mean, that was like literally, probably about a foot in real money, and it just made enough of a difference that there was a delay before they were able to jack him up and get the stop started.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Alex is, I think.
Started.
That's almost a Murrayism, that, to stop the start watch. But I think Alex he reacted to it a bit quicker, so even though the car moved further backwards...
It was instant, wasn't it, for him? He knew he'd done it.
Yeah, definitely. He realised straight away. He probably saw the pit crew and thought, oh, no.
I would actually go as far as to say he saw it coming. He knew that he'd gone in too hot, and he just had to get himself ready to it's almost like he was there with his hand ready to have that in reverse, because he knew, darn it, I'm in too hot. Which is surprising in a way, because, as you said, he wasn't under any pressure. Not only was he in the front, but by quite a margin, to be honest, as well. Even in the pit lane, he had clear air behind him, so he'll probably be kicking himself for that. But we're still only 60 laps in, so we've got 112 left to go.
Grab a beer, everyone. It's going to be a ride. If
you insist, mate. If you insist, I will.
I've just finished mine. It's going to be a wild ride, this one, I tell you, and we knew that from the start. But I mean, 2 yellows. Oh, there it is. There it is, everybody. We knew it was going to be wild, but these early pit stops have really, really changed this up now. And if we get a long green flag period now, there is going to be a heck of a lot of tyre wear on these guys' hands, and Brian is ready. He gave it a little bit of a jump. He gets a tap off Hesno, and that's all he needs to get on with it. He's got a great gap there. And Aaron Smith, look at that, straight up to the top line. Same with Hesno. Side by side, though, Topley and Fletcher. Billy has been very quick this race. Topley now down the inside. Can't quite get anything done on Connor Mills. Freinzehner and Harvey are side by side there as well. Oh, Crean has just hit the wall in the background. He loses out to Justin Nair. But Brian Crowles, he's got these guys right on his tail straight off the bat. No rest for the wicked, eh, Chris?
Isn't it just? I mean, and Alex has now done the old switcheroo.
There it is.
Get it in at some point. And he's dived up towards the inside. Again, is that we get excited about this, but this is now going to be the soap opera for the next couple of laps without question, because he's there. Look at it. It's not done. It's not done yet. He's now being pinched down. Brian Crowles knows what he's doing. And he's trying to pinch him so that Sedgwick can't get the run off of the corner that Crowles can on that slightly higher line. But at the moment, Alex is just keeping himself there in the number 9 car. He's got the nod, and on the timings, he's in the lead. Now he's trying to go up, and he's got it done. But that was close, wasn't it? He really had to go for that to just get himself up there, because if he stayed too low for too long, then he's vulnerable.
Yeah, he has to just get a bit forceful in a situation like that. You really have to show your rival. Oh, James Harvey decides that he doesn't like the paint on the right-hand side of his car and manages to... Well, actually, to be fair, he's not scraped.
JP's trying to get rid of... Yeah, JP's trying to get rid of your student motorsport sticker. I'd have a word with your driver there, mate.
Hey, tell you what, Chris has got his ladle out, everybody. That's more than just stirring the pot. That's a flipping cauldron. Alex Cedric then still leading this one, and to be honest, that move was very decisive. As I was saying, you really have to just show your rival, this is what I'm here for, this is my position. And it was that sort of tiny move. I mean, it may not have seemed that aggressive in other forms of motorsport, but in this sort of racing where any little millimetre that you give to another driver, it can be so vital. Student motorsport saying Robin is racing. I think I might disagree when it's the wall, but yeah, go on then. Billy Fletcher also deciding that he doesn't want his look sim branded on there. Someone call Rob. Jonathan Hill is off on the inside. He's decided that he does want to drive it like a monster truck to match the livery, but he recovers, and we don't get a yellow flag either. We don't get a yellow flag.
Yeah, we've had a few like that, haven't we, where they've gone on to the infield, and it's a very patient race control. And it is auto cautions tonight, apparently, so I'm impressed there that it does just sort of wait to go, right, do we need to? And rather than being a bit premature, we all know the problems that causes. And so they were able to keep the green flag racing going and the dynamic that creates.
Well, that's it. That's what we know and love, isn't it, about this? There's, I mean, we've got the two Revolution Satellite Racing boys here, right in the middle of this, and you can bet that even though they're teammates, they'll still be having a go at each other, won't they? They'll just think, oh, stuff it. It's sort of in NASCAR. Oh, Justin Nayer's now off as well, and we do have a yellow for that one. Right, really? Yeah, we had one for that. I'm not quite sure how he managed that.
He's come from high. I wonder whether he's contacted the wall, because that's from up high. Jack Mason's on the inside there as he managed to get through.
Oh.
And he just tried desperately. Oh, and I thought he was going to make contact with it, but he's managed to keep it going. But the problem there, I guess, is that took a long time to get to the scene of the incident, really, didn't it?
Yeah, that's for sure. It's
so
one
even
of those...
with patience, the caution was going to come out there. Can't believe they're going to go for tyres this time as well. Surely not.
I don't think they will. I think if they do, it'll be someone that's just hoping for a long green flag run, but you can't really guarantee that. I think that everyone will stay out for this one. I'm just looking down the order. Maybe Kriener could go for it and think, oh, fresh rubber. It's only a few laps newer than the other guys, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's not been that many laps. I mean, saying that, we blinked, so it may have been. But I don't know, they're going low. They're going low. They are, you know.
Yes.
Okay. That's why we talk about it rather than do it. Oh, and his no. And he's just do you know what? I'm going to throw the dice. Connor Mills, he's done the same. They both played poker there, and they went for it. It was the old Russian roulette move, that one, wasn't it? They went low. Also, the 88 car of Billy Fletcher, he stayed out as well. Mikey Dobell as well. And Chaz Harvey, he stayed out as well by the looks of it. So this is interesting. Split the field.
Well, here we go then. I was, like we were saying before, I was expecting everyone to stay out on this one, but this turns out to be the most interesting pit window we've had so far. So we'll keep an eye on Brian Crowles. Adrian Burks beats them off lane. Maybe just 2 tyres for some of these guys. Then it's Cedric, Topley and Crowles. Wow, very interesting there.
Done well then.
Oh,
Topley. Oh no, what happened there to Topley? I thought he'd done well, but he just suddenly went slow, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe
still is.
There's something wrong with that car, Alistair. Very interesting.
I mean, what a shame, because that was an outstanding pit stop he got there.
Yeah.
He was ahead of a good number of them, and he's still going steady. Is he heading back in again? I wonder whether he maybe was a bit too quick off pit road there, and is he going to be doing a stop-go? Because he's certainly aiming straight back in again. Now, that is both a shame and intriguing.
He's not about in the chat to have a word with, is he? So we can't really grab him and have a word, unfortunately. But Guillaume Hesno, he's going to be laughing now. Just over 100 laps to go, which is...
Well, I mean,
a lot.
You know, it's one of those things that it all depends on what happens for the rest of this race with the cautions and how they fall, and whether that's going to work for him or not. But what I loved the most about that was that we were suddenly going, nah, they're not. Oh, hang on, they're going low.
Yeah.
They are, you know, they're coming in. And that included Guillaume Hesno. He stayed in the line to go, and then suddenly went, Bosh, have it, I'm out, I'm staying on the track. And everyone else went, crap, I can't do anything about this now. Connor Mills, I think, was in the line, and he suddenly saw Hesno go. I don't know whether he was thinking of it himself, bearing in mind that he bravely at Indianapolis did the 2-tyre change that got him that victory. So he's prepared, and yet he knew, and we saw it, that he was very vulnerable at the end of the Indianapolis race, because Sedgwick, I think it was, that got second, wasn't it? That he was coming back at him because Sedgwick had 4 clean tyres. He only had 2, and he just had to go super defensive at the end, but it worked. He got the win. So these guys are trying something a little bit different. It was sort of on the fence of what you're going to do, but it all depends how this plays out now. But we're about to go racing again.
And they are ready to get going.
I love it. JP said, risk it for a biscuit. I love that phrase. I do love that phrase. Risk it for a biscuit, definitely, JP. Because Chaz Harvey's done it as well, hasn't he? He's sat out there in, in 5th position now, as well. Jack Mason, 6th, so well done. Jack's gone for it as well, and I think that's a good move.
It's easy to get caught up in what other people's strategies are in these races. Well, I'll tell you what, it's easy to get caught out if you're not Guillaume Hesno. Flipping heck. Go on, son. Wow, what a restart that was. Connor Mills, I think he must have been in 7th gear or something. I know these only have 4 gears. But Billy Fletcher's thought, thank you very, very much indeed. 17 places gained. Billy Fletcher goes to 2nd. Now, where is the rest of them? Adrian Burke's on fresh rubber. Look at that. Jonathan Hill, Sedgwick, Crowell's 4 wide around the final corners. A bit of contact.
Now.
Oh, Cedric's around. Cedric gets smashed into by Tolsma. Tolsma doesn't seem to see the yellow flag, even though he's got a yellow car. And well, that is the one person we did not expect to be seeing involved in a yellow, really. Not to blow his own horn like, but let's have a look. I think there is a tiny... There it is. 2 bits of contact. And then watch Tolsma coming here. He just doesn't... I don't think he would have seen Alex going down, you know.
It's fine as well, because Top Gear tells you to aim for the car, so it's fine. Days of Thunder, even. Days of Thunder says, aim for the car. Wow, he just suddenly appeared, didn't he? Wowzers, there's nothing he could do about that. Yeah,
I do apologise if it sounded like I was saying that George wasn't paying attention there, because there was no chance you were going to see that coming. Nearly into the back of Ben Kriener on the way in as well, so those guys got away with it. He's now side by side with his teammate, and yeah, understandably, he's going to come in the pit lane. Freinzehner does as well. Now, Marcel, I don't think, got caught up in anything there, but maybe he's in for tyres, thinking, a lot of other people have taken tyres beforehand, so I might as well. But Guillaume Hesno still leads the race, and, well, we're getting caution after caution now, and they do say cautions breed cautions, Chris, but I think it's just filtering out a bit of aggression here by the look of it until we get a green flag run.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing that caused that, in my mind, is the fact that you had these some of these front runners that decided to go in to change. I was about to say they rolled the dice to change, but actually I think that these guys at the front now are the ones that have rolled the dice, and so far it's looking rather promising. But, you know, you've got suddenly these fast guys, and Cedric's had to go in the pit after that hit as well. Yeah, this will be interesting to see what we're going to get from this guy to come through the field, and you know he will. But, yeah, you know, hence you jumped to it. Crowell, Smith, Burks, as well as Sedgwick, they were all back in the rear of the pack there, and suddenly we're running 4 wide. We know that they can run 3 wide relatively comfortably. But I think 4 wide got a bit squeaky bum time there, didn't it, to say the least? And it just unseated a couple of them. And that, of course, brought out the safety. That's what happens when you go topsy-turvy.
Yeah, that's it. You have to really be careful when you go in for a move like that and think about the guys around you and how aware they're going to be that you've gone down like that. And also how they're going to react to it. I've just heard a bit of contact, by the way, in the background. Not quite sure what happened there. Sounded like a little bit of a nudge from somebody. One thing I did want to mention, though, was just looking at him then, Yuri Ishmael has actually gone up to 8th place now, so even after the incidents earlier on, he's stayed out after his earlier pit stop, and, well, he's still got a bit of damage on the front of the car, but I'll tell you what, he's made that work, hasn't he?
He has, absolutely. I mean, I'm guessing that the biggest thing there is that he hasn't gone in for the tyres, and it's enabled him to work his way back up through. But fair play, he's done a good job there. But, you know, Guillaume Hesno, Billy Fletcher, Connor Mills is interesting because he was always up in that high point. So it's really Hesno and Fletcher that have done the best out of it so far. James Harvey, goodness me, what was that?
Yuri just lit him up on the
That's
straight
one way
then
to
and
do it.
nearly put it in the wall.
Yeah, James Harvey, Mikey Doble, Jason Glenn back up to 6th place. He dropped down through the order after one of the early pit stops, hadn't he? And Jack Mace as well. Like I say, is that I know that we were sort of like having a bit of a giggle that he's put some pressure on himself, like in this circuit. But at the moment, he's doing all right. He's staying out there. And I said that it looks to me as though one of his ploys through this race is to just try and make all of those tyres last a little bit longer. When you consider he was running down in 14th place, he's now sat there in 7th. Not a bad move so far.
No, definitely not. He's really made it work. And we're going to have a single file restart this time, everybody. So Guillaume gets it underway. He doesn't quite catch out Billy Fletcher as well as he caught out Connor Mills last time, but, well, we saw he was good at it at Kansas, and he's really good on these restarts. Let's have a look then. What's going on? Jason Glenn and Jack Mace side by side. We also have Aaron Smith down the inside of Jeff Hooper here as well, with Brian Crowell's just in front of him. And then Alistair Topley's trying to come through.
Well, Chaz. Menace in sight, seeing those two coming through this pack together, line astern. You'd be nervous. Mind you, Adrian Burks now, he's the one that they're trying to get, and he was suddenly turning right whilst going around the left-hander there. That looked a little bit uncomfortable for him, didn't it? But he got that done nicely, under, controlling the throttle there. It looks as though Jack Mace was putting pressure on Jason Glenn, but he's dropped away from him, and Adrian Burks now, the red and white 72 car, is all over the back, and we've got Doble and Glenn ahead of them with do-si-doing back and forth, flip-flopping, as you liked the last time I said that one. And they're trying to go at it again. And are we going to see 55 car of Glenn go up the inside? Yes, he is at the moment. And just amazing how this works is that the two of them did suddenly close in on the back of James Harvey in the number 40 car. But then on the straight, he's able to pull away from them again.
It is pretty crazy, isn't it? How it does just concertina up so much. Adrian Burks now, Brian Crowells and Aaron Smith just behind there as well. And it's amazing to see the difference that just a couple of laps make on these tyres. They really do like the fresh rubber, and they can get the foot down a little bit earlier, have a lot more confidence mid-corner as well. Jack Mace was just moving down a little bit to hold the inside line. Brian Crowells does not care for that, though. He just chucks it up the inside, really sticks it to the inside line. And now he's got the door open alongside Jack Mace. I'm pretty sure he's going to get this done into turn 1. Onto the brakes a little bit, just controlling it. Nicely done there by Brian Crowells. But as you were saying, Chris, the move just isn't done. It'll be like 2 or 3 laps now. Alex Cedric is just behind this as well, making his way through. Bit of damage down the side of the car there. It's the modified aero version of the Toyota Camry. And interestingly enough, before we did have a Toyota, a Ford, and a Chevrolet in the top 3. But now it's the 2 Chevys out front, which is Hesno, and Connor Mills has now got past Billy Fletcher for 2nd place. Billy's got a bit of damage on the left rear corner. I'm not sure whether that was from earlier on, or I think it was him that had some contact under the safety car. So it'll be interesting to know what happened with that a bit later on. Mikey Doble and James Harvey just behind there having a scrap as well. So nobody is letting anything slip here. Aaron Smith has now got past Jack Mace, who has a bit of a blink in and out there. Alistair Topley wants a piece of the pie. And this group that is coming through now, though, I mean, there's still a long way left to go as Topley runs a bit wide there towards Jack Mace. There's still a long way to go, so whether this all completely finishes the way they want it is yet to be seen, mate.
Yeah, they're just blinking in and out for me at this end.
Yeah, that
quite
was
weird.
That was my end. Sorry.
That's all right. No, as long as that is, I can deal with it. So it's no problem. But Aaron Smith is desperately trying to get his way through. The problem not cut through this quite as quickly as Crowells has. Crowells is now trying to close in on the 72 red and white car of Adrian Burke. But he's now got Jason Glenn between him and Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith has got Topley between him and Alex Cedric. Cedric's actually got Jack Mace trying to come back at him in the turquoise 36 car as in the background there. But at the moment, Jason Glenn's doing a great job keeping Aaron Smith. And again, I was wondering whether we're going to see an Aaron Smith masterclass, but he's not getting it his own way. He's got up the inside of Jason Glenn now, and I thought Topley was going to try and go with him. Not possible at the moment.
Oh, we've got to yell it.
Oh, wow, okay.
Freienzener,
sorry. Wow, okay. And that's unfortunate because that's into that infield that we've seen many of those let go, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm not sure what caused this, whether he's hit the wall. It said that he overtook Jeff Hooper, so whether Jeff's had an issue just in front and Marcel's got into him, we'll have to see. Oh, it was Yuri Ishmael in front there that actually had the issue.
Oh, what a shame.
More damage to that car, and he was doing so well, wasn't he? Gaining his places back up the field.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be a very frustrated Brian Zenner in the 111 car there, sadly. But Guillaume Hesno had to throw the anchors out the back there to make sure he didn't go past the slow join-in safety car there by the looks of it. But it's out there and the pace car is picking them up. What are we going to see this time? Now, this is going to be an interesting one for these guys. Do they dive in because they have to? Do they dive in? They're going because they have to, I think, don't they, these two? Billy Fletcher comes in as well, as does James Harvey. Adrian Burke's in the background. Mikey Doble in it as well. And I think, was that crowd? They're all coming in. So actually, do you know what, Chaz? This shows that was a masterstroke of staying out because they're now all coming in for new rubber. It's a legitimate position that they're now in.
And it's a very exciting one to be in as well. If you're some of these guys at the front, just don't mess up the pit stop, boys. Guillaume gets it stopped nicely. Adrian Burke's just going past there as well. Nice little slide into the box there, lights up the rears. I just want to apologise as well, everybody. The connection issue there. The weather outside my window right now is absolutely horrendous. We've had really bad thunder and lightning. Billy Fletcher takes the lead, by the way. We've had really, really bad thunder and lightning here all day, and it's just kicked off again. I mean, it doesn't even look like rain outside my house. It looks like there's a wave just falling off the roof. So part of the connection issue will be down to that, I'm afraid. But we'll push on, won't we, Chris? It's the technical issue world that we know and love.
We do. Don't panic. I've had the same. We've not got that here now, but yesterday and today we had thunder and lightning, and certainly yesterday we had the power blinked out, which included the router, sadly, but not so far at the moment. So fingers crossed we're okay. But that was intriguing. Guillaume Hesno took a long time in there compared to everyone else, but look at that. Billy Fletcher takes the lead. Connor Mills, I think he's probably frustrated that everyone else seems to be sort of pivoting around him. He's always sort of around that position. But Aaron Smith in the 70 car is now up into third place. He got a fantastic pit stop to make up for last time, remember. He by about a foot overshot his box, which meant he had to reverse slightly, which cost him a handful of positions. He's done the reverse this time, hasn't he?
And it's worked beautifully to his advantage, and it's good to see the Wasp back up there, fighting as well. Cedric's in fifth now as well, just ahead of Alistair Topley, albeit in a very second-hand Toyota Camry. Just been told as well it's the same at Student Motorsport as well, same in Belgium and in Normandy, so widespread storms everywhere, and it's...
I'm all right with the sunshine on the righteous, no problem here.
No, I'm not going to say that. Anyway, but Billy Fletcher leading the way, 18 places gained. What an amazing race he's had so far.
Absolutely, and I mean that was a barnstormer of a pit stop that obviously got him a few more places, but he was in the running quite dramatically. And he was one of the ones that didn't pit, wasn't he? I'm trying to remember now. Connor Mills, they didn't, so they've done well out of this. Hesno's probably going to be frustrated because he's dropped himself down to third place. So that means that Hesno and Cedric have come out well of this, in all fairness. But it just goes to show, I mean, we're only on lap 91 of 172. And look how much has happened already. I mean, it's just ludicrous, isn't it, really?
Oh, God, there's 80 laps to go, everybody. And I tell you what, you're going to enjoy every single one of them. And me and Chris are going to do our best to make sure that you enjoy listening to it as well as just watching it. Yeah, that too. Billy Fletcher then, good restart for him. Connor Mills has not had a great time here, and someone has really dropped down there in the middle. I think it might have been Alistair Topley. Hesno goes down to the inside then. Aaron Smith now inherits second place. Billy nearly doesn't give him the room there. Who's that poking the nose in? Of course it's Alex Sedgwick. Alex, the cheeky little one, is just poking his nose down the inside of these guys, trying to open the door. Hesno now down the inside of Connor Mills. Burke's there side by side with James Harvey, both running out a little bit wide. And there is Brian Crowell's trying to come through as well, Chris. Just really, really looking for these little opportunities.
Well, I'd noticed that he'd lost out compared to the others, which is a real shame because he's down, what was he, down in like 10th position. And I know that we had that where he pitted and the others didn't. But, you know, when you consider that Smith, who's up into second place now, because Connor Mills has just gone back down to 5th place. So something went wrong for Connor Mills then. Oh, and Krause was shaking his tushy at the cars behind there somewhat. But yeah, Connor Mills was second, and he's going backwards now. He has fresh rubber on, but you'd almost think he didn't.
It might be to do with the damage on the front right. There's something not quite right about the front of that car. It is a bit bent in and buckled, but he definitely got hung out to dry at the start of the restart. Oh, Topley sideways in front of him. That's a freebie. I'll take that, says Connor. Thank you very much. But Billy Fletcher, actually, I do want to just go back and have a look at that. James Harvey's now down the inside of Topley with Burks. He's almost like a roadblock for Burks right now. It's Alistair. He's out of shape as well. And there's Mikey Doble coming through as well. He wants a piece of this. He says, go on then, boys, if you're going to have that scrap. James Harvey runs a little bit wide, nearly into Topley. It's just never ending, Chris. Help.
It really, really is. I mean, Topley just looks very, very loose there. And, of course, it's not just when he gets loose initially. It's when he's recovering that you think he's going to smack into the side of someone else. And he managed to hold it. Guillaume Hesno's got a good run being bump drafted there by Cedric behind him. I thought they were both going to suddenly dive up the inside of these two that are kind of fairly close together themselves. But Fletcher trying desperately to keep Aaron Smith behind. I said that I felt that he could do well round here, the wasp with the sting in his tail. And at the moment, he's got himself up into that second. He, of course, is going to want to get past Billy Fletcher as quick as he can, if he can, which I'm not sure. Billy's been performing so well today. The reason I say that, though, is that, and he is now diving towards the inside, is that he can see that his nemesis, Alex Sedgwick, is 2 places behind him at the moment. If he can then get past right now, that suddenly puts 2 cars between himself and the number 9 car of Sedgwick that we've seen really go at it like a pair of prize fighters so many times in this season 2 already. But if he sits there behind Billy Fletcher, he's vulnerable to Sedgwick getting past Hesno potentially, and then the two of them are getting broiled in something too early.
Cedric really has got his nose down the inside there, and this is really a game of patience here, isn't it? It just has to...
They have none.
Hang on. Look at this lot. Alistair Topley, Mikey Doble, Brian Crowles as well. Brian wants to just get down the inside there. Ben Carina's going to be on this very soon. He's just got past Freinzehner just behind these guys. Jack Mason, Jason Glenn just tailing on the end of these. Adrian Burks is probably sitting there in his mirror now thinking, oh God, please don't come after me. You just keep that battle over there. I just want to run my laps and get on with it. I didn't like turning right. Let me turn left. He just wants to just crack on. But some fantastic battles. James Harvey's having a good race up to 6th and just ahead there, 3 wide for 2nd place nearly. I think Aaron didn't quite have the overlap, and Hesno really is doing that little pinching manoeuvre you mentioned before, isn't he, Chris? He does not want Sedgwick to get the run. No,
absolutely. And by the way, I need to absolutely applaud Hesno, because if you remember when we did the, forgive me, I forgot what it was, the special dirt track thing that we did before season 2, I've forgotten the name of where it was that we went to for
Eldora.
That one. That's the one. Is that Hesno was kind of coming from high to low fairly aggressively, wasn't he? And it was sort of straight across people's noses. And he put his hand up and said, yeah, I'm sorry I did that. We have not seen him do that since, and we're seeing that in prime example here now. And it's working for him. Burks has got, where did that come from?
James.
Someone drug test that car.
It's on 110 octane, I think. James Harvey just clipped the wall the tiniest bit just coming out the final corner. We'll just see if we can catch it here.
He really doesn't want those student motorsport stickers, does he? JP, you've got to have a word, mate. Look at it. There it goes again.
I say clip the wall. It was more like he gave it a Glaswegian kiss there. That was an absolute headbutt against the wall. And the battle for the lead has changed again now, Chris. Aaron Smith, not Alan. I think that's his dad. I think I've said that one before. Aaron Smith is just... Is he? Yeah. Quite. Leon wants to go with him.
For now. Well, and this could be interesting if they were both sort of getting together like that, and it changes the slipstream, but not happening yet. They've all decided to go high. And Aaron Smith's been left out to dry. In fact, he's slowed dramatically there. That goes to show how compromised you are on that low line.
I didn't know if iRacing simulated squirrels running across the track, but it was like Aaron saw one, wasn't it? It just slammed on. The car really just lost loads of speed there. That was very strange.
And what's it down to now? 5th place. Yeah. That is very odd.
I'm not sure whether it just got loose halfway around the straight. I mean, we've seen stranger things happen, but it didn't seem like it was that loud or anything, did it? It just really just lost a load of momentum.
Well, the interesting thing is you look into the on the horizon there as we came round is that the sun's now disappearing, and we were warned that once that sun goes down, he says try not to break into song, that it will certainly get a lot cooler, and it will change how these tyres perform or how the car performs. And of course they'll have just got themselves into a run, wouldn't they, now of what they're expecting corner after corner, and then suddenly that looked as though we got there and it's like, no, that's not what you did last time.
That's it. You just have to adapt to how these cars behave over the course of a race, and it's one thing that's really underappreciated. I mean, I know a lot of the sort of road racing purists that watch their open wheel stuff and their sort of GT racing will think, oh, it's just turning left again and again, and honestly there is so much to it. NASCAR, for me, it is massively underappreciated. And whoa, Aaron Smith hanging the back end out there. Maybe that car is a little bit loose. I'll tell you what, it's got the sting in its tail, but it must be a heavy, heavy damn sting, because it's honestly like a pendulum in the back of that car at the moment. But the lead battle all this time is still going on in front of them, isn't it? Look, Billy Fletcher, Hesno just trying to get through, but can't quite do it. Billy nearly pinches him. I think Guillaume just went a little bit hot. Alex is going to be praying for more of that, because as soon as the two of them lose momentum, Alex will be through like a dart, I promise you. But Guillaume, he wants his second oval win of the season, doesn't he?
He does. And you know, the interesting challenge now for Cedric in the number 9 car just behind them is that, you know, at what point does he want to get involved? He's just got compromised by the two of them in front there, which means that he's now into the clutch of Connor Mills. Look, Connor Mills going up the inside. It is, you know, that's just the point I was about to say, is that he needs to really time his involvement perfect, suddenly have his nose snapped off through no fault of his own.
Yeah, it's very easy to overdo it. Very easy to overdo it.
Your thunderstorm's playing Mary Howe with my coverage now as
well.
Oh,
I know. It's sorry, mate. It's bad at my end as well. Sorry, everybody. We're hopefully it's not disconnected yet, so we're all good. We'll push on. Cedric is actually, again, he's good at this. He's one of the only cars that's currently where he started, but Connor Mills is getting squashed in here with Aaron Smith, Adrian Burks. Brian Crowell's just pops into the shot there, just like, don't forget me, boys. Don't forget me. I'm still here as well. But what a train we've got, and I tell you what, we'll break the immersion a bit. Go on the chopper cam. Look at this lot here now, as Alex Cedric's actually got alongside Billy Fletcher now, Chris.
Well, he needs to, because Hesno's disappearing off into the distance at the moment. Fletcher just lighting the sparks up against the wall again there, which could suddenly give Cedric the run that he needs. Coming off the corner now, he's on the straight, getting the power. Look how much they move, even on the straight. It's just, they're like dancing around there, like skimming stones off a lake as they go down there. Absolutely fabulous camera shot. Done. Cedric, you just knew that was coming. And in fact, Connor Mills is trying to take advantage of the sights out Billy Fletcher now. But Billy Fletcher, look at that, round the outside. That surprised me that Cedric decided to go so tight there, because that nearly cost him back again. I think he's got away with it, but Connor Mills is now trying to follow through as well. You're not allowed to do that in your race overalls, apparently. But he's trying desperately. And Aaron Smith, Billy Fletcher just compromised somehow on the outside there. Through goes Connor Mills, and Aaron Smith is now trying to get him as well. Yeah,
Billy just went way too hot there. I think he was driving quite defensively to go into turn 1, and he's gone way, way wide. Burks is now trying to get the best of Brian Crowell, but look at Guillaume Hesno. He's away at the moment. I say away, it's 7/10 of a second, but in NASCAR, that's pretty big on a track like this. Cedric second, then Mills third, and then Aaron Smith is just drifting past Billy Fletcher as it stands. Topley in the background there, just side by side with James Harvey too. We'll keep an eye on that on the timing screen. 2 by 2 they go. I mean, you've said it
Noah's
before.
Ark.
Yeah, there it is. You read me mind. Noah's Ark, mate. It's literally so close to these guys. They treat this like it's touring car racing. I absolutely love it.
It's just amazing. I mean, the point being is that we rode on board is that you see that they sort of try and get them. Oh, we got yellow again.
No, James Harvey. Not that I'm biased, but James has had some sort of issue there. Alistair Topley got past. Sorry to cut you off there, Chris. Let's have a look what happened here. Ben Kriener is down the inside. Oh, Ben's gone in too hot and clipped James. What a save from Ben.
And I disagree, is that for some reason, James, I don't think he knew that Ben was down at the bottom there, because James suddenly went from top to bottom there. Ben was on the same line all the way through there, I think, to be fair to him.
We'll give it another look. We'll let you lot decide as well. We'll bring the jury in on it.
You look, Kriener's down on the bottom line there. James comes straight down, and there's nowhere. I mean, Kriener very slightly went up, but not an awful lot. And I don't think, because if you think about from James Harvey's point of view, is that he's gone past the one car. I forget who it was that he was getting past there, and he's not known Topley. So he's gone past Topley. He's not aware that they've suddenly gone 3 wide. So Kriener's there in sort of like just in the blind spot if they even had mirrors, which they don't. But he's just come down trying to get his optimum line. It was never going to work, was it?
Yeah, it's. I think we could probably see that 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Because
I agree.
In my mind, I think Ben was going to go very wide there, but at the same time, James wouldn't have had the call that they were 3 wide because the overlap suddenly happened very quickly, didn't it? So usually with the spotters in these, they're very, very quick. But when James has already committed to the corner, I think it was going to be inevitable. As Hesno still beats Alex Cedric off pit lane, you can see the floodlights coming on. There's Yuri Ishmael. He's thinking, all right, stuff yous. I'm going to take the lead of this. He might get asked to filter back into third. Connor Mills and Aaron Smith then are going to effectively be 4th and 5th. Mikey Doble is ahead of these guys now as well. It's Adrian Burks. Billy Fletcher down to 8th in the 88. So not the best of times for Billy. He's sunk like a stone a little bit there, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I mean, it's a real teaser for us, to be honest with you, because we obviously on the timing get to see pit exit flash up, and the first one to suddenly show up green pit exit was Billy Fletcher, but he must be a long way down the pit lane, as in, early on in the pit boxes, and so he's coming all the way down at that slow pace, and he's like they're going, come on, and he's watching all the cars stop to his left, and they suddenly came piling out before him. And there was nothing that he could do about it. So it sort of just teased us probably nearly as much as it teased him, I think.
Well, I know that Billy started last on the grid, didn't he? So he'll probably have the first grid spot. I think with the NASCAR stuff, that's how it works in the race. It gives you the first pit stop the first pit box if you last, and vice versa, as you see in a lot of motorsports. So the further you are down the pit lane. Although actually it works the other way in things like Formula 1, doesn't it? If you're sort of the top team, essentially, you're the first box that you get to, aren't you? And vice versa, I think. In some sort, in like series like British Touring Car Championship, I know it doesn't really matter. I know that the BMWs are usually the one at the far end, but that's about it. And then the privateers and some of the independent teams and some of the slower guys, let's say, are some of the first boxes you get to. But in real world, it'd be interesting just to see them all change it around just because of how qualifying went, wouldn't it? See the logistics of that would be quite a nightmare. But Yuri Ishmael still back up there though, and from staying out in these pit stop periods, I think actually he is being waved to the back. I think he might have had a wave around.
That's a bit harsh. He was there legit. I wonder whether he's got confused there because he was actually showing as being ahead of them. So
yeah,
I shouldn't have to.
I think maybe he got the wave around to sort of unlap himself, but they'd all come in the pits because of how short a lap is, and he hadn't realised that he'd overshot by that one lap, I suppose. So could have been, but we'll have to find out afterwards. Justin Nayer's just coming out of the pit lane here, and you can see the beautiful shadows as well from iRacing because of the floodlights are now upon us, and as Chris alluded to earlier, the track conditions now much cooler than they would have been before. So the tyre life and the grip, it's going to be at a premium now, isn't it?
It is. Oh, that's why the sun went in. Got you. Yeah, I mean, we still got a whole host of racing to go when you consider how much happened within the number of laps we got left to go from the start. It's just there's so much going to happen. Temperatures change, the lights are off. We're going to get going. Hesno, we know he's got good, but he's now got Cedric, the 9 car, along. Are they? I missed that. Are they lining up side by side? I think they are, aren't they?
So yeah.
This is going to be intriguing. Be determined to do it. And you got Aaron Smith, who is a cracking restarter from my books. That is sat there sort of line astern with Cedric as well. So intriguing. I love the fact we still got Connor Mills there, the number 1 car. Literally everything else is happening all around him, basically, and he's keeping himself there in the pound seats, ready to maybe do something crafty at the end.
Oh, what a start though by Hesno, and Smith as well. He caught it and went with him. We've just had word from the race director as well, Michael Yao. He's just said that he didn't give an end-of-line penalty, he just overshot for Yuri Ishmael at the end of that one, but we're underway again, and that was a very, very tidy restart there. We've got Mikey Doble down the inside of Brian Crowles. Can't quite get it done. We're going to wider shot just to see in the background there as well. Ben Kriener, he's now going to be coming through after that incident with James Harvey. Down the inside of his teammate Billy Fletcher, and Billy was really on the pace earlier, Chris, but seems to have died off a little bit here in the mid part of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still thinking, watch out, because I don't think he's off the pace. I think he just lost out in the pit stops. How hard is he going to push against his teammate now? I'm not sure. I don't suppose he's going to go excessively elbows out, but they're sat there side by side there, and behind them you've got Jason Glenn just on the inside of Freienzener in the 111 car as well. And look at this gaggle at the front, for goodness sake. I mean, don't you wish you were in a grandstand watching racing like this? It is just all happening absolutely everywhere. Krause dives to the inside of Mikey Doble in the turquoise and blue car, but Doble, number 22, he's on the outside. He's not going to hit it. Talking of hitting it, there goes Billy Fletcher rubbing off some of that paintwork again, which means that Kriener's going to look towards the inside. I mean, it's all millimetres in it, isn't it?
It really is, and I tell you what, Billy's been getting very friendly with these walls, especially down the back straight as well. He's been rubbing that wall all race long, and he's always, tell you what, he's going to rub it more than rub it if he overcorrects this, and he's going to go in as well into Freienzener. And you know what, I said that, he didn't actually hit the wall in the end, but, well, Billy has had a proper issue there with that, and lights it up, and around he goes, I'm afraid.
Just at the point I was about to say, where you're saying he's doing a lot of love taps with the wall, is that it wasn't compromising him that much. It did this time. And he just the back end. Yeah, I think the problem there was that he was trying to go for that gap, wasn't he, on the inside of the car just ahead of him, and that meant that he suddenly turned a bit more than he intended to mid corner, and it just at a point when he's light, and that was it. Good night, Vienna.
You're right, though. It's these sorts of cars. They're not the sort of cars where you can drive them and make a big adjustment mid-corner.
No, definitely.
Without getting and get away with it. I mean, so we're going to see a course of a lot of these guys trying to do that as the tyres go off if we get a longer green flag run. But I mean, all of a sudden we're on lap 126, so we still have, if my maths doesn't fail me, 46 to go. Is that right? Yes.
I don't know. I'm not getting involved.
My mental maths is awful, everybody. For a commentator, it should be better. I won't lie. But, honestly, it's really, really not. However, I think Guillaume Hesno is doing an absolutely outstanding job here. He's not had the easiest of races. He started 5th, and he was in the melee from the very beginning. And now he's just picked them off one by one to get to the top, hasn't he?
However, look at this. Intriguing. Into the pits has gone Ben Kriener, Freienzener, Naya, and Fletcher, Billy Fletcher. All right, you got a tap there, but these guys, I actually think these guys are trying to roll the dice now. This is an interesting move that they're hoping, because they've gone in now. They're going to rejoin the pack before the green flag, I would imagine, and they're hoping that what they want. They probably, well, to be honest with you, the top guys, even if there isn't another caution, they're going to have to stop for tyres surely before the end, or if they're not, they're going to be on a ragged set of rubber. And of course they can then potentially sit there. What did you say? 40 odd laps. They won't have to pit again. No,
that's true. Well, come the end of it, they'll probably be driving like there's KFC trays under the rear wheels. As
not massively. If you're talking that we're told 50 to 60 laps for the tyres probably, and therefore, we got less than that. So those guys that have just pitted now, they won't have to pit, and the tyres shouldn't be too ragged, especially as we're under caution at the minute. Now, that could be an interesting move for a few of those,
Yeah, we may see some of them stay out next time round. We'll have to keep an eye on it. So Marcel Freienzener is the first of them. Then we have Ben Kriener and Yuri Ishmael as well. Still in there. He's still in the fight with that very battered Ford Mustang, but he's shoving it around.
Mr. Nugin commented, "Go on, Ishmael," and I agree. Go on, Ishmael. He's playing a MasterCard at the end here that could be interesting. Up to 15th place now.
And the Mauritian driver is not giving up one bit as well, and that's what we love to see in these sorts of championships. You get these characters of drivers that just never give up, no matter what situation. He's had a couple of incidents here and there. He's been on the grass. He's had obviously had the wave around to get himself back on the lead lap. and it's brilliant because he's not given up and he's there still in the fight. He's got Jeff Hooper, Justin Nair.
Better and better, hasn't
he?
He's got better, more consistent. He knows what's happening. I mean, I've jumped into these things on the simulator. Not a chance. Not a chance. I was beyond useless. I mean, and I could not work out what I needed to do. They you might not think they're that different, but genuinely, I was like going, how do you even do it? It just did not make sense. So what these guys are doing is amazing, and Ishmael he's picked it up nicely, and he's playing potentially quite a tactical masterstroke here that he's going to get himself with a pretty reasonable haul of points, you know.
And that's what it's all about, you know. It is a championship at the end of the day, so these guys have to think, if you're not going for a win, just keep it safe, play a clever strategy, and go after those championship points. At the end of the whole thing, they are the most important bit. We have lights out on the safety car, so this is going to bunch up any moment. Or it should do. Anyway, oh sorry, we do not have lights out on the safety car. It turns out I'm blind, so lights out in my head. And there they go. So now we have lights out on the safety car, and lights on everywhere else, and this is starting to look very, very pretty and floodlit, which, to be honest, I think when a NASCAR race like this does go into the night from a sort of afternoon setting, as these guys have set it up to do, it just adds so much more excitement to it, because the difference in track conditions and just even air temperature, for example, from the start to the finish, it adds those extra elements that we as commentators love to talk about and realise that the drivers have to think about so much more.
Absolutely. I mean, it just looks a spectacle already, getting even more spectacular. I mean, what a fantastic cocktail that is. And, you know, we're now sat here, lap 130 of 172. Alex Sedgwick now back on that front row, just chomping at the bit. Guillaume Hesno, he's had to do this in some of the early stages. He's now going to go for this restart. He's got Aaron Smith behind him, who we know is good. Off he goes, nice and early there. He just kept them waiting and went, see you later, I'm out of here. And they're somehow settling into their order. Apart from Topley, 41's trying to go up the inside of the number one car of Connor Mills. Connor Mills keeping his boot in there, making sure that the yellow and blue 41 car of Topley has to dodge back out again. And sure enough, he knew that was not really an option that time round, tucks himself in. But Hesno, what a fantastic restart again.
Oh, he just absolutely flew, and even if he did spin up the rears, there was no obvious signs of it, to be honest with you. Justin Nair has had a bit of an issue and not brought out the yellow, fortunately. I'm just going to have a quick look at what happened to that. Oh, this is George Tolsmet. Justin's in the middle there with Ishmael and Hooper. Oh, that's close. Oh, he clips Ishmael into Hooper and into the wall. Those guys get away with it. Yeah. But he forced the issue 3 wide there, and Ishmael, don't know whether Ishmael came up at all, but didn't seem to be too much of it going on. It was just a bit of movement on everyone's part, I think, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, no gap there. Nair's tail end just suddenly flicked out a little bit, meaning that he suddenly started aiming back down the track where Ishmael was, and Ishmael got fishboned off into the car on the outside. But yeah, as you say, they got away with it. But look at this. Brian Crowell's on the inside of Mickey Doble. What am I on about? Mikey Doble. And he's still fighting, and it looks like Krause has got it, and Jason Glenn's trying to follow him through as well in the black and blue, or the blue and black, probably I should say, 55 car. But look at this, how it still carries on. Talk about carries on, Sedgwick, he's taken that lead, and Aaron Smith trying to get involved as well.
Yeah, Alex just managed to dig it down the inside, down the straight, still side by side though they were. But Alex,
is that new damage on Hesno's car?
I believe he had it quite early on.
Okay.
I think he had a knock against the wall or something early on, and that's just stayed there ever since. Connor Mills' car hasn't been repaired either, actually. He's got a few dents and scrapes all over it, but it's what we love, isn't it? Battle-scarred race cars, they've got the fly splatters all over them as well. They're covered in rubbish, and it's great sparks everywhere from Aaron Smith. It's not Eldora, mate. He was all over the walls at Eldora. He was riding it like it was a bumper car, but that means that Connor Mills can now go through down the inside. So it's just tiny little mistakes like that can make all the difference. James Harvey's done a good recovery here to come back up. He's now back in the top 10 in the student motorsport car. Goes past Jason Glenn just about. Billy Fletcher's there as well in the background. He goes very aggressively down the inside. 88 on 55. Hold your breath indeed, Chris, because I tell you what, I didn't expect that to go as well as it has, and now they're intertwined in another battle.
That was amazing. I mean, that was pretty much the slingshot that he pulled there, wasn't it? Is that he was on the outside, just tucked up underneath him, and then knew that Jason Glenn got slightly compromised with his sort of attempt that didn't quite come off of a move on James Harvey, and he suddenly slingshot aggressively, and he had to. When we were riding on board earlier, I can't remember who we were on board with, but we were on, and you saw that you're on your own line, and then you suddenly realise you're closing in on the car in front, and he just suddenly had to throw himself out of the way to try and slingshot past. He's carrying on. Talking about carrying on, look at this. We're sort of edging towards 3 abreast again here, aren't we?
Scary. No, I'm waiting for him to do it. I'm just waiting for one of them to get there. But the thing is that we've noticed as well this season, I mean, this is no sort of bad reflection on the guys further down, but in these races, it's all about using your head, and the smartest racers in this series are the ones that end up rising back up to the front, because they just don't throw it down the inside at every opportunity, although Alistair Topley seems to fancy himself as a Formula Drift racer there, because I tell you what, that thing was so sideways. He used Adrian Burks as some sort of like footrest halfway around the corner, and he's managed to keep it on circuit very, very well. Good save. But yeah, the guys that don't just fling it in at every opportunity are the ones that show the patience, and they gradually just make their way up, and it's great to see that. I mean, Ben Kriener, well, Ben does just chuck it down the inside. Oh, Freinzane has gone off. Jason Glenn has had an issue as well. Freinzane is buried in the wall. Looked like the back of the car had some sort of heartbeat then as the bodywork decided how damaged it was. Let's have a look. Oh, Jason hits the wall hard. And that's the second time, or even the third time. Is it? Look at that, the car's got a heartbeat. That's brilliant. That's the second or third time now that Freinzane has been caught up in someone else's incident, isn't it?
And that's really unfortunate, because that wasn't a sort of like a daft thing or an aggressive thing by Jason Glenn. He went out high, hit that wall that we've seen so many of them do, but it just sort of speared him back down low. This is the interesting part, and this is why another reason why Freinzane, and he's given up by the looks of it, and I'm not surprised if he's been involved in other people's moments. These guys are coming in for fresh rubber. Now who? Ben Kriener is in. Is he? No, he isn't. He's changed his mind at the last minute. Look at that. Ben Kriener has stayed out, as has Mikey Doble, as has Connor Mills. Now, that's interesting.
Yeah, Connor Mills. I wasn't expecting that.
That, I'm not convinced that's a good move. But Ben Kriener in 38, that is a good move in my mind, because he was one of the ones that did dive in when no one else did towards the rear of the field. And I said, keep an eye on that, because there's few laps left that he could find himself with enough. I don't recall Mikey Doble. I think that he's going to possibly be compromised on the quality of the rubber at the end of this one. So those top two could be sitting ducks for Ben Kriener. This could be an absolute masterstroke for Kriener if we don't get another safety car.
Yeah, it's all very dependent, isn't it? That's the thing with these sorts of strategies in these races. It can depend so much on what happens in the pack behind you. There's like no control on who you're racing with. Billy Fletcher going very slowly here. I think he's got to wait for something. What's happened there, Billy? His car going very slowly, but yeah, like you say, Connor Mills really, really rolling the dice now. He must be confident in his pace. Mikey Doble up there as well. But Alex Sedgwick, as you would have seen there, everybody, Alex really did lose a couple of places off that. Aaron Smith is just behind it. It was actually, Aaron Smith, out of all the people that just pitted then, Aaron is now the highest. Yeah, he's come back around, hasn't he? I'm not sure whether he got a speed in the pits penalty or something.
Could be, because we saw someone else do that earlier, didn't we? I can't remember who it was now, but we did see that. Although he is aiming in.
Yeah. He's
over.
He's not overshot his box. Ignore me. Sorry. Yeah.
And he has gone back up again. Okay. Now that, I wonder whether he just made a mistake on what the instructions he gave when he came in, because of course they then make a call on what they want to do. We saw at Indianapolis that Connor Mills, masterstroke of just changing the 2 tyres, which of course takes half as long as those that are changing 4. Did you see what I did then? Quick maths, see?
Love it.
I can do those. But this one, I'm not convinced that this will work. I don't know.
It's one of those. It's yet to be seen. We as commentators will probably go, nah, won't do that, and then he'll go on and win the race. It's just the typical thing as a commentator, isn't it? We're the backseat drivers in this situation, and I think that Connor probably knows something we don't, but I'm intrigued to see what he does.
Just to say that thanks, Rob, for letting us know. Billy was speeding in the pits.
Ah, right.
Well, I'm intrigued why he stopped and did another change of rubber, though.
Yeah. Very, very odd one, that. But either way, you're there. You may as well get the service, I suppose. But if you've already... It's a bit of a waste of a set of tyres, but as discussed beforehand, these guys do have unlimited tyres. And just very quickly before we restart, everyone, iRacing, one of their new features is that you can have, over a sort of, in inverted commas, race weekend, you can have a limited set of tyres, which I think is absolutely brilliant and one of my favourite things that they've brought in for a long time. It's those little details that get the anorak in me very excited. But Connor Mills is going to lead them away. It's a bit of a gentle restart, and Kriener has gone right with him. The plan is not going to work if that happens. And look at Cedric down the inside of Guillaume Hesno into turn one. How's that going to play out? They don't quite go three wide. Aaron Smith is on there. They do go three wide, and Hesno goes down the inside. Mikey Doble getting swarmed in the middle. Help me, he says. I can't deal with this. He goes from second, and look at him already dropping down. Adrian Burks nearly makes contact. Brian Crowell's through the inside as well. Mikey Doble is hemorrhaging positions. He's absolutely dropped like a stone.
Yeah, and I mean, he even got a slight tap there, I think, from Cedric. Cedric's actually got past quite a handful of people there. Kriener's going to want to get past Connor Mills as soon as possible, but on the outside of 38 goes the 70, the wasp of Aaron Smith, but Kriener's got him back again, and somehow at the moment Connor Mills is doing a great job to hold on to this, and I say it's a great job because we've just seen what effect it has with Mikey Doble. Big shake there from Kriener, which means he has lost that place. Through goes Aaron Smith. And that's interesting because if you remember right at the beginning, I said that I reckoned Aaron Smith could win this one. And at the moment, he's looking on his contact, and that is Kriener's just suddenly collected Guillaume Hesno. Hesno's going to be devastated with that. He's had such a strong race, and Kriener keeps going. And we've got more. Jack Mace has been spun round there by Adrian Burks, I think, but I think it was all linked to the mayhem that was going on sort of in front of them, sadly.
I think Kriener went up on Hesno.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't quite see it there. Sorry, everyone. We'll get this back. Yeah, Kriener goes up, doesn't he? And then into Hesno, who then gets collected. And then that was Brian Crowells and Jack Mace, who's then sideways. Oh, gets collected by Tolsma, and then into Hooper as well. Big hit there. We'll have another look again. Just see what happened from on board with Jack Mace. So the accident happens on the right. You barely see it, and then suddenly the cars are slow.
Wow.
And it's Crowells that just tiny tap on Jack Mace, and then Tolsma comes in, then Hooper. Wow, that was a big hit for a lot of those guys there, and there's going to be a lot of damaged cars coming in the pit lane. Brian Crowells as well, of course, was our pole sitter in this race.
Now, Connor Mills has come into the pits this time, but this has not worked for him. He did not want this safety car. So all those guys that sort of like risked it for a biscuit and stayed out, it's not worked. It's kind of all bets are off now, apart from the usual suspects at the pointy end. They've gone, well, I don't need to come in now. We've got, 13 laps to go, unlucky for some. There's just no need, and you still can't discount that there may be another one yet. In came Hesno there to his box. Out goes Connor Mills. Where's he going to come out at? 11th place. I mean, that's just heartbreaking, isn't it? And he was doing such a good job to hold them back as well, wasn't he?
That's it. It's just such a shame to see it go that way, but that's racing. And a lot of the time, it's just tough bananas, isn't it? And naturally, I mean, I don't know how they always do it, but it's Aaron Smith and Alex Sedgwick at the front again. It's just the inseparable duo this season. They've been absolutely amazing. And I must say as well, don't forget that in second place in the championship, as things stand, it's not just Aaron Smith, obviously overall winning this, but he has to think about the likes of Hesno, Glenn, Crowells. They're all involved in that. I mean, Jason Glenn's down in 15th. Brian Crowells is actually 9th, so he's managed to not lose too much out of that one. But
well, and they need to sort of really hit it this time, don't they? The sweet spot. Certainly Aaron Smith does. Conversely, the others need to get the better of Aaron Smith here, because next week, of course, we got the dreaded double header. I say dreaded, for us it's awesome to watch, isn't it? Because it's such another great pick of a mix. We've got the Daytona Speedway and Gilles Villeneuve, which of course means we've got oval and road circuit again, haven't we? It's like, well, perfect, two very different things. Well, but what that means is that there's such a cat amongst the pigeon for that lot, that Aaron, who we know is just fantastic on these ovals, needs to do it now. And he is at the moment. And I can't quite work out how he's managed to do it, other than, I think you used the phrase patient earlier.
Yeah, well, that's it. You have to just pick your battles in these races, and when you get involved in a real scrap in front of you, it can go very, very quickly wrong. I mean, as we saw there was a really, really good scrap between Kriener and Hesno, but it just didn't quite work out. Jonathan Hill, by the way, is up to 5th place here in the Revolution Satellite Racing Gravedigger car, and James Harvey is now up to 6th. Justin Naya there in 8th as well. And Yuri Ishmael still trying, he's still 10th. Brilliant.
It just is amazing. And I mean, you think about it, we've still got 21 laps to go. There's a song there, 21 laps to go. That's 1 second. Ask your mum. But you know, it's it just means that we still can have loads happening here. And probably will.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we will. Don't you worry, everyone. So Aaron Smith then, starting from the outside, and bye, it's gone. Absolutely gone. Look at James Harvey through the middle there. Wow. Alistair Topley just manages to hold the inside line. You've got Crowles and Connor Mills having a fight there. Justin Naya has just made contact with Billy Fletcher on the outside. Justin went a little bit hot into turn 1. Billy's had to just get out of the throttle, and luckily, no big contact. We've got cars bouncing off the wall all over the place. Hesno there trying to make his way back through as well. Connor Mills on that inside line. Look at him go. He wants to get past Justin Naya. Brian Crowles is just in front. Mikey Doble in there. Some of the guys just kissing the wall. I think James Harvey is guilty. And Jonathan Hill goes down the inside of the number 40 Student Motorsport car. Side by side.
He just washed out then, didn't he? He just washed out and got that massively crossed up. And that's enabled Crowles to close in on both of them there. But you see how it changes as he's seeing both. Oh,
Justin Naya sideways. Oh, and he gets hit by Jason Glenn. In goes Ben Kriener. Tolsma again. Hooper again. Those guys, honestly, they're like magnets for accidents, aren't they? Unfortunately.
And that's bumped a few of them, like Kriener, into the pit lane from that one as well. Because he came in late on that one, didn't he? And that's just, oh, dear me.
So Justin Naya goes around. Jason Glenn, Kriener, Tolsma straight through the middle and through his car as well. And actually, there was a bit of contact, wasn't there, between the pair of them? And yeah, Kriener thought, well, may as well come in. Why not? I'm already here.
Yeah, I mean, he largely got hit down that end, didn't he? And he probably could have just about pulled out of it, but I don't know. I'm not sure that's quite what he wanted to do. And in fact, I'm pretty sure he has just come straight through it there. So I think he got forced into that by the contact. I
think the pit lane may have been closed for the guys doing a pit stop there, actually. Oh, look at them. They're trying to dummy each other to go into the pits again. I dare you. I dare you. We've got 18 laps to go. 18 laps here.
I tell you what, watch out for the third place car, Adrian Burks, number 72. He could pull a fast one by the end of this race, you know, if it sticks like this. I don't know. I think Burks could be quite an interesting little joker in the pack there.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely could be. And to be fair, I mean, Topley's had good pace as well. I mean, he had a few moments earlier where he did drop down the order, but he's really come back strong in this one, I think, as Alistair Topley. So I just think the amount of pit strategies we've had now and the way they've all crossed over, a lot of it has been completely negated, hasn't it? Like, they had a pit stop before, people gained an advantage, and then something else happened, another yellow flag, and then some other guys pit again, and it's all completely erased and we're back to square one. But somehow, again, we still have Aaron Smith and Alex Sedgwick at the front. But I agree with you there, Chris. Adrian Burks, definitely one to watch. We've got Justin Naya, Jason Glenn, Jeff Hooper, George Tolsma, and Jack Mace in the pit lane. Ben Kriener has carried on. For now, he thought about it, I think. But, yeah, he's carried on. And it's... I'm just trying to figure it out. Yeah, Jonathan Hill has gained the most places. 13 places gained. Billy Fletcher has gained 10. I'll just show you these on the left-hand side, everybody. But what a drive from Jonathan Hill here, and it just shows that staying out of all of the trouble and just timing your pit stops right, it can do wonders.
Indeed. Yeah, Alex Sedgwick has just messaged,
yeah,
this is awesome. You're not wrong, mate. You need to be on our side of this and realise just how awesome this race is, Alex, but how good that Alex has just messaged from the car.
Yeah,
that is exactly how it seems to us. It's just incredible.
Let's drag him in and have a word. I mean, Alex, for you to be texting and driving in the sim, you must be well excited, mate.
Absolutely. Obviously, don't text and drive in real life, kids. Yeah, you know, it's great fun. I think, I mean, to me, this is probably the best race we've had so far. You know, just action all the way through the field. Obviously, I've made it myself a bit harder earlier. By you know, throwing it full wide and having a little spin. But we're back at the right end now. Yeah, you know, there's so many lanes you can run here, and obviously you've seen, you know, you get such a good run off the top, but that bottom's sort of a bit quicker mid-corner. If you can clear the mid-corner, it works, but you can kind of get stuck side by side, and obviously then the pack catches up. But I think, you know, everyone's been in probably like a 10th lap time-wise all race, so for that, it's, you know, it's been great fun. Hopefully it's been good to watch as well.
Oh, it certainly has. When my internet's been behaving, it's been amazing to watch, to be fair. Honestly, I think
when there hasn't been thunderstorms.
Oh God, yeah. But no, the action seems really good from this point as well, mate. Not just from a driver's seat. So we hope it continues. We'll let you go, mate, because 1 to green.
Cheers, guys.
And off he goes. And
I got it wrong. The lights are on. I did your job there. Where I had the glitchy picture.
They're off now.
I predicted it. That's what it was.
Hey.
I caught your septic peg from you then. Jack Mace is out of the race by the looks of it now. I saw that he'd gone out and in and out and in, and it wasn't the hokey pokey. He's obviously got a problem. So he sadly is out of it as well, as was Brian Senna, who just kept getting monstered by other people, sadly, and I think that was the end of that one. Oh, goodness me. I mean, this is going to be an intriguing one to call. I mean, how relaxed is Cedric sound there? I'd be exhausted and hardly be able to breathe by now if it was me.
I wouldn't be able to stop shouting or screaming, just help, because I think I'd probably have a nosebleed if I was that far up the order anyway in one of these races. But to be honest, I mean, Alex has said it before, he gets more nervous for these races than real-life races sometimes. And I'm not surprised, because there are so many different elements to it that you need to focus on. But here we go then. Smith, again, he doesn't go aggressively, does he, Smith? He just makes it very gradual, and he catches people out with it. Cedric gets caught out, then Connor Mills is right on the back of James Harvey, and it's sort of checked up at the top there. Adrian Burke's down the inside of Alistair Topley there for third, but Alistair is making that work as well. Oh, James Harvey, again, he doesn't want that Student Motorsport branding on it. Honestly, guys, 3 wide again.
Connor Mills is 3, and he's now managed to sort of dive up the inside of both of those, and he's leaving Jonathan Hill and Harvey to have the set 2 above him, but suddenly as Hill came down, it nearly got a bit close there with Connor Mills, but Connor Mills clearly didn't even lift, he didn't care, and he kept with it, and he's gone through past all of them. What a great job, up into 5th place for Connor Mills.
Billy Fletcher just washed out a little bit wide there, nearly made contact. I think he might have just given Guillaume Hesno a little bit of a kiss there on the outside as he went past him through the window net.
Well, look what that's enabled. Crowell's 48 car, the patriotic American livery, he's just managed to go and get past all of them, although he nearly got collected there, didn't he? And up the inside of him now comes Billy Fletcher, isn't it? I mean, Crowell's have done a great job there, but I don't know, he just suddenly checked up in front of everyone for a second, didn't he?
Tell you what, Jonathan Hill just went in a little bit hot there and just kissed the rear of Brian Crowell's. Not something that everyone would want to do, but he just managed to save it. I do love Brian, he's brilliant. It looks like someone's already been there though, so I don't want to be sloppy seconds, judging by the side of the back of that car. But he's managed to just stick it out there in front of Billy and keep the place. But Billy's gained 10 places. Billy's gained 12. Jonathan Hill's gained 9.
Can I just quickly pick up as well? Look at Connor Mills. He only just recently got past these guys, and he's checked out, disappeared up, and he's right onto the back of this great fight that's going on. And Burks is trying to go up the inside of the yellow and blue car of Topley. The 41 car goes high, and Connor Mills in the one silver and purple and pink and blue and whatever else on it.
I can sing a rainbow.
Yeah. And he's now trying to go up the inside. He's doing the old switcheroo from the high line to the bottom line, but didn't quite work, so he's got himself line astern again. Now he does the old catapult up the inside, but the problem is that it doesn't work as cleanly we see in some of the circuits, because this will now continue for several laps before it actually works itself out, tucks himself back in line with Burks, then he's back up the inside again. I mean, the patience, and he's done it. He's past Burks at the moment. Is he going to carry that on and try and get alongside Topley? I mean, it just is. The patience you've got to have for these moves is phenomenal.
It is really amazing. He's still trying it as well. You can see mid-corner. What have we seen, mate?
Cedric's in the lead.
Oh yeah, he has had Aaron Smith here. We'll go back and have a quick check of when that happened. It looked like it happened a while ago.
Honestly, sorry guys, but there's so much going on.
Again, just the patience, just keeps it down the inside, and that was the last time they swapped over. So going into the final corner, he must have done it. Ben Carina came out just in front of them as well. And I think Ben's got the pace to probably stay ahead. Is he still in front? Yeah, he is. He's actually not been lapped yet by these guys. This is still going on. Connor's actually not managed to get it signed, sealed and delivered, as you'd say, Chris.
No, he hasn't, has he? It looked like he had, and he was more trying to put the pressure on Topley. But who's that now? Krause has now closed in on them.
Yeah, Connor, honestly, Connor just got so sideways then I nearly fell off my desk. I was so sideways out the final corner. Honestly, I nearly chucked my mouse out the window. But yeah, as Joel has said in the chat, Brian is coming, and he is certainly closing in, and Burks is not letting Alistair Topley get away either. We've got a battle going on here, Jonathan Hill and Mikey Doble. Guillaume Hesno has finally got ahead of Jonathan Hill. He was side by side with him forever. It felt like he was side by side for about 100 laps. James Harvey's just there in 11th in the background. We need to keep an eye on this.
The sad thing is Harvey's dropped downwards because JP's apparently reporting that they've got damage to that number 40 car, which is a real shame why he's gone sort of downwards a bit. But look at this now. It was Connor Mills who's applying the pressure to Burks. Burks now up the inside of Topley. There's contact there as he washes out. That suddenly means you would not want to be doing that in front of the one car of Mills and Brian Krause there. In fact, Brian Krause, I think, bottled out of that one because he saw that getting messy, and Topley is nudged towards the wall. He just brushes it, and he's lost a handful of places there. Up goes Burks to third. Connor Mills trying to get him again, and Krause finds himself up into fifth place. Topley from, what would that have been, third down to sixth. He'll be devastated with that.
Yeah, he just, that tiny bit of contact, they were three wide, and I don't think that Alistair knew it there. Adrian obviously wanted to give the room down the inside. And yet, 2 laps to go. Where did that come from? Oh my God. Everybody, this is the beauty of Iowa. Again, another circuit that I'd never commentated on before. Alistair Topley smacks the wall. He says, oh, go on then. I may as well get rid of this bit of bodywork. It's lightweight.
He's going to be devastated because he was running on a podium paying position, all the P's, and suddenly finds himself down in sixth from a bit of a nudge, to be fair. And so he's probably cussing. On his own mic there. Thank goodness we're not open, but he's going to be frustrated. So near and yet so far. Yeah,
it's a real shame. Yuri Ishmael's come in the pits, by the way, but Alex Sedgwick is about to come around to start the final lap of the race. And to be honest, in season 1, Alex had 100% win rate on the ovals, and he's showing us why again here. He's managed this race very, very well so far. But this is some real good racing, isn't it? Aaron Smith, though, is chasing him to the end. And Aaron is not letting this slip. I'll tell you what, Alex is letting the back of the car slip. But get the clap emojis ready, everybody. Because as is tradition with me, I like the clap emojis in chat. Show your love. And round 5 of Season 2 of the Vertex Stock Car Cup goes to Alex Sedgwick of Vertex Esports. What a drive. Aaron Smith. It couldn't be anybody else to follow him home, could it? Connor Mills finishes third. Podium for him again, the reigning champion. Burks, Krause and Topley just behind. Billy Fletcher, biggest mover of the race, 12 places gained. What a drive from Billy, eh, Chris?
Oh, I mean, there's so many that you could pick up that have had fantastic performances here, to be honest with you. Probably the most frustrated, I'd imagine, is going to be Brian Krause, although he's actually had a brilliant race. He's just got involved in a few issues on pit road and on the circuit, but so many of them have done absolutely fantastic. I mean, what a race. I would not have got my wallet out to put money on anyone for that one. I know that we've had the usual suspects ending up finishing the top 2, but it didn't look like it was going to go that way, and I don't quite know how they managed to do it.
That's the thing, there were so many different strategies and ideas from everyone, when to stay out, when to go in. We've got the fireworks going as well, everybody. Look at that shot there from Alex's car. He's going to park it against the wall and do one of my favourite things that the drivers do to celebrate in NASCAR, where he's just going to pull gears and light it up. Spin the rears against the wall. Absolutely love that. That's fantastic to see. What a beautiful celebration there from Alex. And here are your results then, everybody. So Mr. Sedgwick himself, the boss, wins round 5 from Iowa Speedway. Aaron Smith, second place, and Connor Mills, third, means 2 Revolution satellite racing cars on the podium. Another good round for those boys. Adrian Burks, good return into 4th place, with Brian Krause in 5th. So after his earlier little moments, that's not too bad. Alistair Topley still manages 6th. Billy Fletcher, biggest mover there, in 7th place. Guillaume Hesno, 8th. Not quite what could have been there. I think he deserved a bit more. Mikey Doble, 9th. Jonathan Hill, a good 10th place. He'll be happy with that one. So 3 Revolution satellite racing cars in the top 10, actually. James Harvey finished 11th. Bit of a tough sort of second half to that race there for him, with Justin Nair 12th. Jason Glenn 13th. Jeff Hooper in 14th there. George Tolsma in 15th place. Ben Kriener ended up in 16th position at the end there, with Yuri Ishmael 1 lap down, and Jack Mace, unfortunately, out the race in 18th, and Marcel Freinzehner out of the race as well. So we lost only a couple of guys there, Chris, but wow, what a race Iowa put on.
It wasn't incredible. I mean, and unfortunate just seeing Ben Kriener's comments as well is that he's a bit frustrated. He got 12, what did he say, 12 by simply avoiding other wrecks, and it gives him a drive-through, and he went through the pits 3 times and it still wouldn't clear his drive-through penalty.
Oh, right.
So that's a bit of a shame there. But, I mean, it literally was that challenge in so many ways, and what a way to go into the night. Look at that picture there. I've just added yet another one onto my bucket list.
You love these American circuits, don't you, as well? I mean,
massively.
To go and see it at night must be pretty spectacular as well. And I tell you what, if you go in, make sure you book a second ticket, mate, 'cause I'll go with you. If you'll have me, of course. We're going to go and have a look back now then and just catch the start. Look at that. That's how it was at the start of the race. That's the beautiful lighting that we had earlier on, the late afternoon settings. It's just so pretty. Someone who I want to speak with on that one is Aaron Smith, who we spoke to last time round as well after an amazing round at Zolder. Aaron, good to see you, mate. I think after Zolder, not quite the same performance, but still, I'm sure you'll take a second place, won't you?
Oh, absolutely. I completely forgot Iowa was on the schedule. I remember saying earlier in the Discord that Kansas was my worst track on the schedule. That's not true. It's Iowa.
Well, they certainly didn't make it look like that, mate. You were leading until very close to the end there, but again, another great race between you and Alex, which is always fun for us to watch.
Oh yeah, when I took 2 tires in that last pit cycle, it was we drove through the field pretty well. I took the lead. It just wasn't enough for to hold Alex off, but we still got a P2 out of it. So.
And obviously, in terms of your championship points, I mean, Alex is the only guy ahead of you in there, but when it comes to the overall standings, of course, you are actually the leader because the pro guys, Ben and Alex, don't get counted in that. So, if anything, it's just managed to help your championship even more. So, as we've now passed the halfway point, are you confident that you can keep this momentum and try and claim the title?
Oh, certainly. We got a lot of good tracks coming up. I think next round is Daytona and Montreal, isn't that?
It is, yeah.
Both of those tracks. So hopefully Montreal will end up like Zolder, and I'll end up having a pretty uneventful race. But
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how you get on there, mate. Before we let you go, though, obviously well done on your second place. And is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone at Revolution Satellite Racing and everyone at Vertex for putting this show on, and y'all for broadcast.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Good to speak to you, mate. And we'll see you next time round.
Alrighty, thank you.
And before we interview our race winner, I want to speak to Billy Fletcher. Because Billy, I mean, well, that was a really good drive. 12 places gained, starting from the back of the field. Talk to me about qualifying there. What happened there, mate?
I didn't qualify.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough then.
I did the practice race Monday night, and I didn't qualify, but I don't usually qualify for the practice races because it gives you a gauge of how easy it is to pass or how difficult it is. And I knew passing was possible, so I was like, you know what, I'll have a bit of fun tonight, start back and see how we go.
And I bet it was brilliant to gain so many places, even lead the race at one point as well. And I mean, even still finishing 7th, you gained 12 places, so you must be overall very, very chuffed with that one.
It's a little bit disappointing. The second to the last time I went through the pits, I kind of sped. I was a bit naughty on the way out, and it gave me an end of line penalty. So I decided to dive back into the pits and take 4 tyres. I took 2 tyres on the previous stop. I'll take 4.
Okay.
I'm last anyway, and see what I can get back to. But I wish there was a point for accommodating every single position on the track at one point tonight, because I would have got that.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, we did wonder what had happened in the stop, so I'm glad you could put that one together. Chris, have you got any questions for Billy, mate?
Yeah, sorry, I've only just got back from the loo. I was desperate. That excitement got the better of me there. But no, I mean, Billy, I mean, you just absolutely lit it up there. We were loving you coming backwards and forwards. But at the same time, I was listening to the comments you were making there. For absolutely everybody, it always looked like it was easy just to go that little bit high and make contact with the wall, and it would take a long time to get that momentum back again.
Yeah, it's more rear tyres. So when I was actually leading it to get to the front, I took on 2 tyres. and it just started to light up the inside wheel, and it just, as soon as it starts spinning, you chase it up the track, and you're forever chasing it up, and you get to a point where if you overcorrect, you're in the wall. So you kind of have to let the back of the car hit the wall to save too much of a sort of incident. But I must admit, I don't know whether you see it on broadcast, but every car I think I went past on the right side, there was damage to the right hand side.
Yeah, we had a lot of them out there tonight, whether it be front right corner or right rear corner. They were all in very second-hand condition, but still, the guys were pushing them around all the same. Great drive though, Billy. Very well done, mate. Is there anyone you would like to give a shout-out to before we let you go?
Yeah, man, as usual, Mr. Pearson, Luxon 24, and Paul Gordon, Sim Stickers, Draper Tools, and obviously you guys for putting on such a great race and broadcasting it, and obviously Mr. Cedric for organising it all.
Cracking. Well, good to speak to you, Billy, and I'm sure we'll see you next week.
Take care, buddy.
Cheers. Billy Fletcher there, biggest mover in the field in that race, and what a drive it was. And I mean, we couldn't really speak to everybody without speaking to the man himself. Another race win on an oval for Alex Sedgwick. Alex, you must be absolutely beaming there, mate. You're not bad at this oval stuff, are you?
It's almost like I race a NASCAR in real life or something.
I know, yeah.
No, I mean it's obviously my first oval win of season 2, so it's about time. I've gone from 100% record on the ovals in season 1 to 0% before this race. So it's nice to turn that around. And as I said when we were mid-race, I think, and I said it to the guys at the end of the race on the competitors chat, like that's probably the best race I've had on iRacing for as long as I can remember. People racing really hard, 2-3 wide a lot of the time, but super clean, holding their lines, letting each other get runs. Strategy came into it as well, people taking different tyre options, pitting at different points. So it was really, really good fun, and it's that type of race that I'm more than happy I won, but I'd have come away, pretty satisfied and pretty happy, no matter what, from battling from the back.
And obviously next week is going to be another one of the fantastic double headers that we enjoyed last time a few weeks ago. Going to Daytona first, a track where I don't think your right foot really will come off the throttle that much, but go from there to Montreal, a very twisty track where, of course, Aaron Smith was very fast last time. Are you confident about the second half of the evening more than the first, or vice versa?
Ovals all the way, I think Daytona's always a bit of a wild card. Obviously, you rely on having a good partner for a push, and being kind of the right place at the right time. You don't know what can happen, and obviously a shunt could occur with the first 5 cars, which takes out the rest of the field. So it's a bit of a wild card, but obviously last time round I managed to avoid trouble quite well. Hopefully, this time I can stay at the front a bit more and do more of the same, really. Obviously it's only 20 laps this time round, so it's a proper little sprint, so should be interesting. Montreal, obviously it's a new track to the series. It's a track that I've never driven on iRacing, so we will find out about that one closer to the time.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be exciting all the same, and like you say, with a shorter race at Daytona as well, less time for the guys to get the move done, and no sort of sitting back and thinking, I've got 100 laps now, I can just sit at the back of this train and gradually make my way to the front. It's going to be everyone going completely balls to the wall, and I know that Chris is probably rubbing his hands together and getting his beer ready already, because that's going to be an absolute corker, I think. So it'll be an exciting one to see, mate. But before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, buddy?
As ever, all of you guys, we're past halfway of season 2 now. It's really not that long ago we started this up, and we were sort of busy putting the original idea together, and I think how far the series has grown from that first race. Some of the names we've had involved, the size of the grid, the quality of the grid we've had. It's been fantastic for a brand new series. So thank you to you two as ever. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes. Thank you to the competitors, everyone tuning in to watch. It's obviously it helps us out massively, and it allows us to keep doing more and more of this. I think I'll have a little bit more of a plug and say, anyone watching, if you do want to get involved, you can enter as a one-off. You can come and have a go at Daytona and Montreal with us, Watkins Glen or Homestead to finish off the season. So feel free to get involved. And then at the end of this season, we're running some throwback races with the 1987 NASCAR Cup cars that iRacing have recently put out. So if any of that interests you, head to vertex-esports.com to find all the info and get involved. And that is my advert over.
Well, and I want to add something extra to that, is that we're also open to sponsors as well, and Chaz and I will be very much calling it the whatever the company is race, and I think we actually have got someone. Is it for the next round?
Yeah, we do indeed. So we've got a sponsor for the next round. Obviously, keep your eyes peeled across our social medias for announcements of that. Obviously, really grateful to them for coming on board, and yeah, exactly. We're open to partnerships. We're also open, to if there's someone sat there watching who's had an idea for a series, but doesn't quite know how to go about, running it, or thinks there could be interest for something, get in touch with us. We'd love to hear your ideas as to where to go in the future. We are open to literally anything. Obviously, don't think we're limited to stock car stuff. So whatever idea you might have, however you may want to get involved, feel free to get in touch.
And I'll back that one up as well, is that many of you will know that this is season 2 is when I joined the Vertex setup, and it's just amazing. I commentate in the real world, and this is my first foray during this lockdown into the sim world, and these guys have really opened my eyes to it. I do a few other bits and pieces as well, and what Vertex and what Chaz Draycott Media put on, and the guys at Simply Race and Lux Sim 24, absolutely fantastic setup. And that is that we can literally plug and play and run other people's events, and I'm just absolutely privileged to be involved with you guys. So I do encourage anyone thinking of getting a sim championship or series together, give these guys a call, and we can put the whole thing on, including the broadcast and everything for you. Yep,
agreed, definitely. And likewise, Chris, it's great to work with you on this as well. We have managed to assemble a good team together, but we'll let Mr. Cedric go for now and enjoy his moment, and we will actually just have a quick look as well, mate, at the burnout that you mentioned into the pit lane. I'll tell you what,
I was proud of the pit entry.
While we do that, actually, we'll let me just see, where does it say that you entered the pit lane? Here we go. So we'll do this while you're here as well, so you can take us through it. Actually, you can see the stream in the Discord, can't you?
I will, bear with me, I will get it up.
You just had a massive drift into the pit lane, a burnout all the way down. So talk us through what was going through your mind, because obviously you were over the moon anyway, and it's lit up all the way down there. You're going to get done for speeding in the pits, surely.
Absolutely. Well, alongside NASCAR, I'm all about big drifts, so I'm just,
look at
mixing together both my passions, that's it. So, if anyone needs a precision driver, hit me up.
Or a stunt driver. Love it. Well, very well done, Alex. Great to speak to you as always, mate, and I'm sure we'll speak to you next time round at the awesome doubleheader we have lined up.
Absolutely. Cheers, guys. Good sales pitches as well, I must say. Well done.
Yeah.
He's got to love it. We please the boss live on air,
well,
everybody.
I mean, and the reality there, Chaz, is that we're speaking from the heart. Is the fact that we're here just loving, and I'm hoping that everybody who listens can hear that. Is that we're literally like kids in a sweet shop, enjoying everything that's being put on. That the whole kit can be put on. The fact that this could have been, like say my training company is Open Doors Training. It could have been like the Open Doors Training Vertex Stock Car Cup from Iowa, and that's what we'd be calling it throughout. The fact that we can run other people's events and that includes you. I think it was appropriate to say all the things that you do with your media company to do the broadcasting from your neck of the woods. And I get to just be like a diva and just rock up and have a giggle with you, mate. I mean, that's all I get to do. It's brilliant. I mean, I'm so lucky.
It is a lot of good fun, and like Chris says, everybody, we do genuinely enjoy this. And I'm one of those people where if I'm not enjoying something, I have to admit, you can tell when I'm not enjoying it. But this racing is absolutely incredible that we get to witness here, and it's week in, week out as well. And Season 2 is just over halfway through by now. However, I'm sure that this will not be the last time. Anyway, for this evening, well, I usually am as well. I am Chaz Draycott. Joining me tonight was the fantastic Chris Dawes, as ever, the beautiful Chris Dawes, as I've said.
Beautiful Chris Dawes,
And we will see you next week at Daytona and Montreal. A fantastic doubleheader. Make sure you don't miss it. Have yourselves a great evening. We'll see you then.